On overcast day in South Florida, we bring you to Hertz Arena in Estero as the Gladiators road trip brings them to the home of the reigning South Division champions, the Florida Everblades, in a heavyweight tilt here in late January between two of the South Division's best. Chiarenza with you here on the Gladiators Broadcast Network as Atlanta meets Florida for the first time since late October. The Gladiators picked up their first and only shutout of the win that night as TJ Septemfelter backstop a 2-0 win for the Gladiators as these two teams meet once again here for the second out of 7 meetings this season. These two teams have taken different paths to get there, but they are both right at the top of the division. Pits us for a heavyweight tilt in the first of 3 meetings here this week. 4 out of the Gladiators' next 5 matchups will be against these Florida Everblades. We're going to find out a lot about this Atlanta Gladiators team over the next few games and find out really where they're at in the division as they go up against the reigning South Division champs. Atlanta, on their road trip thus far, has gone 2-0-1 with back-to-back wins over Orlando. They are now 25-9-1 on the season with 51 points on the campaign. They are sitting in second in the South Division, but if you go by win percentage, the Gladiators are actually on top with a .729 win percentage. They played the least amount of games out of any team in the South Division to this point. For Florida, business as usual. These guys know how to win, and they are really the benchmark for success in this league over the last handful of years. Three-peat Kelly Cup champions in 22, 23, and 24. South Division champions again last year. For the Gladiators, to be the best, you got to beat the best, and they'll look to do that here tonight. Florida at 25-8-4-1 this season are back to their usual shenanigans. 55 points on the season. By points, they are currently sitting in first. Winners of their last game against the Stingrays on Sunday. But again, in terms of win percentage, out of the games that they've played, they're operating under a .724 win percentage. The Gladiators have gotten the better of them to this point in that category. So 2 of the South Division's best go head-to-head. For the Gladiators, they are riding highs. They are coming off of back-to-back wins against the Orlando Solar Bears at Kia Center. For the Gladiators, their longest road trip of the season continues. It started on Friday night in North Charleston against the South Carolina Stingrays, which they fell 3-2 in overtime. Then they made their way to Orlando on Sunday and Monday and picked up points in both of those games with big-time wins. 4-1 on Sunday with 2 power play goals and a 4-point performance from Jack O'Brien. And then most recently on Monday in a 2-1 gritty win to improve to 2-0-1 on the road trip and have points in their last 5 games. For the Gladiators, head coach Matt Ginn described it as a bit of a greasy win. Not their best, not their flashiest, but they got the job done. It started with the power play. Jack Mateer on the man advantage scores for the Gladiators to tie the game after Atlanta surrendered a 5-on-3 power play goal to Jack Adams and the Solar Bears in the first period of that game. And it was a bit uncharacteristic for the Gladiators to give up the first goal, something that they've done so many times this season. About 2 out of 3 games, the Gladiators have scored first about 66% of the time, but not on Monday. But nonetheless, the Gladiators found a way to win. It was Mateer scoring on the power play to tie the game up at 1 in the second period. And look out for Jack Mateer, the former draft pick of the Nashville Predators. He has 1 goal and 2 assists in his last 3. Not necessarily known as being a scoring defenseman, but that's what he's become over the last few games as he's gotten better and better in his second stint with Atlanta this season since being sent down by Milwaukee. For Alex Young, he ends up scoring the game-winning goal in the third period for the Gladiators. An absolute snipe from the near circle. Ends up beating the goaltender Menigan for Orlando to make it a 2-1 final in favor of the Gladiators. And watch out for Alex Young. He has been money as of late. 4 goals and 1 assist in his last 4, including 3 goals against Orlando in the 2 games. Watch out for number 13 in white here today. For Mike McNamee, had an assist in Monday's game. Now has 2 assists in his last 2, but nobody has been hotter than Isaac Walter as of late. He had an assist in the Monday game. He has the longest point streak out of any Gladiator coming into this matchup as he has 2 goals and 2 assists in his last 4. Ryan Francis also picked up an assist in the win for the Gladiators as TJ Semptimphelter stopped 31 of 32 in his 12th victory of the season. Tonight, the Gladiators will be led between the pipes by the reigning ECHL goaltender of the week, Ethan Heider. Last time we saw Heider, he stopped 26 of 27 in the 4-1 win on Sunday. Heider ends up earning the goaltender of the week honors with a 2-0 record, a goals against average of just 1, and a .960 save percentage. He ends up stopping 46 of 48 shots that he saw between the two games last week that he played in. Against Greenville, 2-1 win on Monday, and Orlando, the 4-1 win on Sunday. So Heider will be the goaltender for the Gladiators here tonight. As the real story for the series against Orlando was special teams. The Gladiators end up scoring three power play goals in 2 games, 3 out of 9 in the 2 contests against the Solar Bears. They go 1 for 4 on Monday in the victory. They went 5 for 6 on the penalty kill, but keep in mind the one power play goal that they surrendered was in fact a 5-on-3 power play goal for the Solar Bears. So when the Gladiators are operating on a 5-on-4 penalty kill, they have been pretty good as of late. Look to continue that here today against the Everblades. As for Florida, they were coming off of a 6-3 win on Sunday over the Stingrays at North Charleston Coliseum. But for the Everblades, that game was a bit closer than the final box score would indicate. And for Florida, they've been faltering a little bit as of late. The Gladiators will look to find a way to pick up more points here in South Florida today, as the Everblades are 1-2-1 over their last 4 games. Now for Florida, they come back home in a building where they've been pretty good in this season with a record of 10-4-1-1. And they did find a way to get the job done on the road on Sunday against the Stingrays. Zach Berzola had 1 goal and 1 assist for the Everblades, but Anthony Romano really took the headlines on Sunday as he had 2 goals and 1 assist for a 3-point performance. And for Romano, he has 3 goals and 5 assists in his last 4. Nice point streak for the All-Star for Florida, who represented them in Allen last week. Oliver Chow, their captain, had 1 goal and 1 assist in the win over the Stingrays, and Ben Brar had 1 goal as well, as did Jesse Lansdale. But the thing for Florida is they're a bit short-handed coming into the matchup here today, as they have lost some of their big guns here tonight. As Carson Gishevich is still out due to injury, as is Taryn Pfizer, and Jesse Lansdale is out of the lineup after being suspended for an incident that occurred in the game against the Stingrays on Sunday. He will miss tonight's game, and that is going to be a big blow for the Everblades, as Lansdale this season is one of their top scorers with 8 goals and 12 assists for 20 points in 38 games. And he had been heating up as of late with a goal and 2 assists in his last 3, but the Everblades will be without his services here today, and the Gladiators will look to take advantage, especially here on the road. For the Everblades, just like the Gladiators, they do have a stellar goaltending tandem. Will Cranley was the goaltender for the Everblades on Sunday. He stopped 23 of 26 in the victory. For Cranley, he's had a sensational season, really has revived his ECHL career here this season with Florida, as Cranley this year has a record of 13-2 on the campaign. But today, we will see Cam Johnson for the Everblades, as Johnson, the reigning ECHL goaltender of the year, has put together another nice campaign this year. He is top 5 in minutes played this year, as the Everblades have really relied on him a lot this year, working in tandem with Cranley. Johnson this season has a record of 11-5-4-1, a 2.32 goals against average, and a .903 save percentage. But interestingly enough, is yet to record a shutout this year. Last time Johnson got between the pipes was on Saturday against the Stingrays, in what was a 2-1 overtime loss for Florida, in which Johnson stopped 25 of 27. Last time we were in this building, it was Semptimphelter against Johnson. Today, it'll be Ethan Heider, the reigning ECHL goaltender of the week, up against the reigning goaltender of the year. Makes for a good goaltending duel here in South Florida. We'll talk more about it on the other side of the break, as we will get to our keys to the game, presented by Beaver Toyota and Mazda, and the starting lineups here from Estero. This is the Gladiators Broadcast Network from Hertz Arena. We are back after this.
Tonight's game is brought to you by the ECHL, celebrating its 38th season of affordable family entertainment. The ECHL would like to thank everyone in attendance for your support of ECHL hockey. The ECHL would also like to recognize the following league sponsors: AMI Graphics, exclusive signage provider; Athletic Knit, official jersey supplier; Baron Rings, official championship ring supplier; BFL Canada Insurance and Sutton Special Risk, sponsors of the 2026 ECHL Hall of Fame induction ceremony; Dash, official mobile auction platform; The Fairley Group, official commercial insurance provider; Flow Sports, exclusive streaming provider; Hotel Planner, official hotel reservations partner; Howie's Hockey Tape, exclusive hockey tape and lace provider; In Glasgow, exclusive puck provider; Prolific One, exclusive secondary ticketing partner; and Warrior, exclusive on-ice equipment provider and title sponsor of the 2026 ECHL All-Star Classic. Catch all of the ECHL action live in high definition by logging on to flowhockey.tv.
Welcome back to South Florida, where we are getting set for this heavyweight matchup between the Atlanta Gladiators and the Florida Everblades, the top two teams in the South Division, and maybe the top two goaltenders here tonight for their respective clubs as of late, as Ethan Hyder, the reigning ECHL goaltender of the week, is going up against Cam Johnson, the reigning ECHL goaltender of the year. Should make for a fun one here tonight as we get to the keys to the game, presented by Beaver, Toyota, and Mazda, with their head coach, Matt Gidd. Key number one from Coach is energy and compete. This is the biggest game of the year for these Atlanta Gladiators. Last time they were in this situation, they rose to the occasion and they shut out the reigning South Division champions in their own barn in late October. And what really was a statement win for these Gladiators and a statement win for TJ Septenfelter, who notched his first professional shutout that night. For the Gladiators, they will look to once again let the world know that they are for real here tonight in South Florida. And it starts with that high compete level, and it starts with bringing the energy on the road. Second key is to win the gritty areas. We've seen this one before many a times this season, but it rings true, and especially in a game like this. Two teams that are going to be battling in a playoff-like atmosphere for these 2 points here tonight. It is very important for the Gladiators to win those battles along the boards and win those tough areas here tonight. And finally, the last key from Matt Gidd, manage the puck. This is something that the Gladiators have done a really good job of over the last few games. Got away from it a little bit in that last contest against Orlando. Were able to right the ship and end up getting the comeback victory. For the Gladiators here today, this is a team that has a lot of veteran experience. They have been there, done that. They are the benchmark for success in this league. You cough up the puck, you give them a chance, they are going to bury it, and they are going to make you pay. For the Gladiators, the third key is to manage the puck here tonight in South Florida. All right, let's get to our starting lineups here tonight between the Gladiators and the Everblades. We will start with Florida, who will send out number 7, Logan Lambden, at left wing to start. Standing at 5'8", 180, the Michigan native is playing in just his 8th game with the Everblades this season. 1 goal and 2 assists for 3 points in 7 games for Lambden. Did have 1 assist on Sunday at South Carolina. His starting center here tonight is number 26, Kyle Betts, who is currently under contract with Florida's AHL affiliate, the Springfield Thunderbirds. Betts this season, standing at 6'1", 181. Having a good year with 15 points in 29 games, 8 goals and 7 assists for Betts. He also had an assist on Sunday at South Carolina. His starting right wing here tonight is number 11, Isaac Nurse, standing at 5'11", 185. Nurse this season with Florida has 1 goal and 1 assist in 10 games. Starting on the back end for Florida, number 23, Gianfranco Casero, standing at 5'11", 187. Estero this season has been one of Florida's best defensemen with 7 goals and 13 assists for 20 points in 37 games. He leads the ECHL defensemen in game-winning goals and takes a lot of shots as well, as he is 4th amongst defensemen in shots this season with 96. He'll be paired up with number 6 Jordan Sambrook here tonight, standing at 6'3", 205. The native of Markham, Ontario, has 1 goal and 16 assists for 17 points in 38 games this season. He also had an assist on Sunday out South Carolina and leads the Everblades in plus-minus as a +20. Starting in the pipes tonight for Florida is number 33 Cam Johnson, standing at 6'1", 205. Native of Troy, Michigan, has a proven record of winning. Johnson is under contract with the AHL Springfield Thunderbirds, and in 21 games this season has a record of 11-5-4-1, a 2.32 goals against average, and a .903 save percentage. Johnson, in his last outing, stopped 25 of 27 in a 2-1 overtime loss to the Stingrays on Saturday, and he is the reigning Nick Vitucci ECHL goaltender of the year, and he is also a 3-time Kelly Cup champion and a 2-time playoff MVP. That is the starting lineup for head coach and general manager Brad Ralph's Florida Everblades. The assistant coach is Kyle Mountain. Now, starting for your Atlanta Gladiators, at left wing is number 61, Kaylin Lind. Standing at 6'1", 165, native of Swift Current, Saskatchewan, has 3 goals and 7 assists for 10 points in 20 games this season. Lind, a former second-round draft pick of the Nashville Predators, is under contract with Nashville, the Gladiators' NHL affiliate. His starting center here tonight is number 71, Joey Cipollone, standing 5'11", 192. The native of Purchase, New York, has 8 goals and 8 assists for 16 points in 35 games. His starting right wing here tonight is number 86, Ryan Francis, standing at 5'9", 176. Native of Halifax, Nova Scotia, has 3 goals and 14 assists for 17 points in 35 games. He did get an assist on Monday against Orlando. Starting on the back end for the Gladiators is number 8, Ryan Conroy, standing at 5'9", 185. Native of Chestermere, Alberta, has 1 goal and 5 assists for 6 points in 34 games. He'll be paired up with number 11, Zach Yoder, standing at 6'5", 205. Native of Woodstock, Georgia, in 11 games, has 1 goal and 1 assist for 2 points on the campaign. And getting the start between the pipes is the reigning ECHL goaltender of the week, number 31, Ethan Hyder, standing at 6'4", 190. Native of Maple Grove, Minnesota, is under contract with the Gladiators' AHL affiliate, the Milwaukee Admirals. Hyder this season has been sensational, working in tandem with rookie TJ Sentenfelter. The second-year pro in 18 games has a record of 13-4, a 2.37 goals against average, and a .923 save percentage. He is tied for second in wins in the ECHL entering night, tied with the Florida backup here today, Will Cranley. Other news for the Gladiators here today, Dylan Carabia out of the lineup here tonight as Zach Yoder comes in his spot with Ryan Conroy in the second D pairing. As looks like Ryan Nolan and Mickey Burns have traded places on the right wing position on the second and fourth lines. Burns gets the bump up to play with McNamee and O'Brien. Nolan will slide in with Carson Denemy and Ethan Scardina. And speaking of Carson Denemy, he celebrated his 26th birthday yesterday. So happy birthday to Carson Denemy, and happy birthday to Riley Appelt, who is celebrating his birthday here today. Still battling a little bit of an injury, so he is out. Brendan Less out of the lineup as well. Dylan Carabia and Connor Galloway are your scratches here tonight in South Florida. And so that sets the stage for an exciting one as the Gladiators are led by head coach and director of hockey operations Matt Ginn. Assistant coach is Zach Fennell, as we are just about set for action here tonight in South Florida. It'll be a 3-man officiating crew led by a referee, Will Kelly, wearing number 7. Linesmen are Ben Fortin wearing number 44 and Jason Lordy wearing number 50. As the Everblades have made their way out of the tunnel, they are wearing their green jerseys with white numbers and blue and gray trim. They will skate from right to left to begin play here tonight. For the Gladiators, they are wearing their classic white jerseys with blue numbers and Gladiator gold trim. They will skate from left to right to begin play here tonight in what is the 4th game out of 7 on their longest road trip of the year. The Gladiators have established themselves as one of the best home teams in the ECHL with a record of 14-3 within the friendly confines of Gas South Arena. And we're looking to make a statement on this road trip and prove themselves to be a good road team this year, which they certainly very much have, with points in 3 out of the first 3 games of this road trip, as the Gladiators are now 11-6-1 on the road. But this is a building that is very tough to play, and a lot of teams will tell you that over the years. It's not the biggest team in the ECHL, got a bit of a low ceiling, and because of that, sound echoes and reverbs like none other. Gladiators will look to take a win in enemy territory in one of the most hostile environments here tonight, as coming up next is the national anthem from South Florida. We are all set and ready to go from South Florida. It is the Atlanta Gladiators and the Florida Everblades for just the 2nd time this year. Although these two teams are going to become very familiar with each other over the next few weeks, as the Gladiators and the Everblades, at least on Atlanta's schedule, will meet in 4 out of the next 5 And 3 straight here in this building starting tonight. And again on Friday and Saturday in what will be a 3-game set. And that will be the only time that the Gladiators will be in this building for the rest of the season. And then on Wednesday night next week, the Everblades come to town to Gas South Arena for the first time on the campaign. But before we can get to that, we have to talk about tonight. And tonight is going to be the biggest test for the Gladiators this season. And they will be led between the pipes by the reigning ECHL goaltender of the week, Ethan Heider. Stopped 26 of 27 in the 4-1 win over Orlando on Sunday. He earned those honors with a 2-0 record, a 1 goal against average in that week's span, and a .960 save percentage, stopping 46 of 48 shots. Ethan Heider with a record of 13-4 on the season, a 2.37 goals against average, and a .920 save percentage. He is your starting netminder here tonight, going up against one of the league's best, number 33, Cam Johnson, reigning ECHL goaltender of the year. Has a record of 11-5-4-1 this season, a 2.32 goals against average, and a .903 save percentage. In his last outing, he stopped 25 of 27 in a 2-1 overtime loss to the Stingrays on Saturday night in North Charleston Coliseum. So they will roll up the red carpet, get us ready to go, as Joey Cipollone will meet Kyle Betts at center circle to drop the puck on the latest installment of this South Division rivalry. 3-man officiating crew here tonight, led by referee Will Kelly wearing number 7. 2 linesmen are Ben Fortin wearing number 44 and Jason Lordy wearing number 50. Only notable lineup change personnel-wise, Dylan Carabia is out. Zach Yoder, the pride of Woodstock, Georgia, is in. He will start on that starting D pairing with Ryan Conroy. Betts against Cipollone to start. Betts wins the faceoff, and away we go from South Florida. Betts will win it back. Florida quickly trying to shuffle it up. Ice flings it to the right wing on time for Nurse. He'll pop a shot off the right pad of Heider. Rebound sent to the slot where it bounces in front of the Gladiator netminder and is ripped away by Francis, and Atlanta will move up ice. Kaylin Lynn from the high slot takes a shot. That will go into the glove of Johnson. 27 seconds in for our first whistle of the night. So the last time the Gladiators were in this building, came away with a statement victory in their 4th win of the season to improve to 4-0. TJ Semptenfelter earned his first professional shutout. Gladiators won 2-0 that night. Feels like we're in for another low-scoring affair here in South Florida as Alex Ingham, the first line, take the ice. Puck goes into the near corner. Young will dig it free from there. He'll climb up the wall, twist it deeper, angled off the end wall to Nychuk on the left side. Puts it on goal for a stick save by Johnson. Rebound, put up the far wall. Atlanta pressuring, trying to keep it in, but Florida will spit it the length of the ice, and it will be an icing on the Everblades. 51 seconds in. Seems like every night we're talking about keeping a close eye on the shot count, but tonight you'll keep a close eye on it because Florida gives up the least amount of shots against on average per game, and just a hair under 25. For the Gladiators, they don't take a whole lot of shots either. 27th in the league, averaging just about 28 shots for per game. As Walter chases a puck down to the Florida end wall, Sylvester pinching on the right side, tries to keep it alive, but the Everblades will escape out to center. Here is Craig Needham diving down the left wing. Puck is stolen away by Mateer. Able to brush it up to Walter, who sidesteps his way to the neutral zone. He'll pump it to the left wing, just out of reach for Sylvester, and that line will head off for a change. Florida will take this opportunity to make a line change as well. Sean Allen, the defenseman for Florida, will start their breakout from the back end. They'll roll it down the right wing. Pass to the inside, goes away from Jet Jones. Now a shot from Sillinger is fought off by Ethan Heider, and the Gladiators will take this out to center. Mickey Burns now on this new look second line. Pops it into Florida territory. Landry turns it over to Burns, trying to put it in front for O'Brien. Whacking at the side of the net. Johnson keeps it out. Gladiators trying to keep a hand on it, but Jones able to rip it away, and Sillinger will move up ice with Henry. Pass to the inside. Rolls off the stick of Henry into the open arms of Hyder, and he will freeze it. 2:09 into the first. This game has started with a few whistles to begin. Gives us a chance to talk about our head coaching duel here today. For the Everblades, it is Brad Ralph in his 10th season behind the bench of the Florida Everblades. 3-time Kelly Cup champion with these other Everblades. He knows a thing or two about winning in this league, going up against Matt Ginn, who has really took the league by storm. And for my money, is the front runner for head coach of the year, as he's done wonders with this Atlanta Gladiators team and was the Eastern Conference representative at the All-Star game last week. Everblades on the attack from the right wing. They put it to the goal line. Yoder able to pitch it to his right to Nolan, who throws it to the neutral zone just a tad away from Ethan Scardina. Moves up to Denemy, celebrated his 26th birthday yesterday. Return pass to Scardina, cut off, and taken up ice as Oliver Cooper jams it out through the neutral zone. Has Cazzaro on the left wing. He'll wrap it over to the right. He'll put it to the line where Sambrook couldn't get there in time. Has to track it back down to the neutral zone. With help from Cazzaro, they'll punch it back in. Rotate to the right side now. It'll glance off the stick of Logan Lambden. Gladiators able to push it out to center, and here's a foot race. Kalen Lynn's going to win it in the near corner. Lynn peels up, cuts to the inside. Lynn shoots off a stick and over the head of Johnson. Fighting hard behind the net. He's able to knock it to Francis. Francis volleys it to the line for a shot by Mateer. That's blocked by Sambrook. Rebound goes to Nychuk. He'll swoop out to the near side. Puts it up top. Francis shoots. Blocked in front. Mateer able to tap it just over the goal mouth. Gladiators pressuring here. Best zone time so far tonight in the early going of this one. Everblades finally able to weasel it away. Betts moving up ice. Pushes it left side for Lambden. Francis able to get in front of it. Floats it up to Sylvester. Tried to hit Nychuk on the run, but ends up rolling off his stick. And the defenseman will stay out on the forecheck. Meanwhile, Allen bursts through the neutral zone, over the red line, wires it into the far corner. Orzek chases it with Allen to the end wall. The Gladiator, the victor. They'll put it to Young through the neutral zone, who hits Walter on the fly. Walter to the goal, just pushes it wide. Didn't quite have the angle. At the line, Orzek holds and shoots. They score! A tip in front, and Atlanta leads 1-0 in the opening 5 minutes. This Gladiators team has been so good about scoring first in games this season. About 2/3 of their games they do so. It's Orzek who took the initial shot. Might have hit the Florida defenseman in front. Sylvester was there as well. We'll end up seeing what the official verdict is, but so far, in any case, it is a 1-0 Gladiator lead, and that goal coming 4:25 into the first. The Gladiators have done it again. They strike first in yet another contest. Atlanta is 22-1 when doing so this season. Florida, when trailing first, is 8-5, 1-1. This game far from over, but the Gladiators have the upper hand to start. Contested puck in the neutral zone. Gladiators looking for more. They'll push it into the Florida zone and get off for a wholesale line change. Jones up ice, plunges in on the left side, drops off for a shot by Sillinger. Hyder the save, puck is loose for a chance, and it's blocked in front by Nolan. Landry pinching in at a prime opportunity in front of the net, and the Gladiators make an offensive stand to keep their early lead. The official goal does belong to Nolan Orzek, his 5th of the season from Alex Young and Isaac Walter. Walter with the secondary assist extends his point streak to 5 straight games. Here's Scardina for a shot. That's reeled in by Johnson, and he will freeze 5:32 into the first period. So think back to the trade on December 29th. Anthony Furiolo, Jack Robilotti make their way to Iowa. The Gladiators get Jack O'Brien and Nolan Orzek. And both have been excellent acquisitions for the Gladiators this season. Orzek now 2 goals and 2 assists in this 11th game as a Gladiator. He's been that right shot defenseman that they have needed on the back end. As Florida ices the puck, and Atlanta will have an offensive zone face-off. Alex Young with the primary assist now has 2 goals and 2 assists in his last 3 for a point streak. And Walter, 2 goals and 3 assists in his last 5. Face off to the left of Johnson. Cipolone will take it. He'll win it to the line to Matier. Matier on a 3-game point streak puts it towards the goal. Hits a man in front. Cipolone will take it behind the net, try and wrap it in, but Johnson had that covered, and the Everblades were able to come out the center. Francis takes it back in. Running down the left wing wall, chip and chase to the end wall. We'll get it behind the cage and put it back up top to Matier. From the right point, exchanges with Linz. Sniffing that out is Penny for Florida, and upwards they go. Cooper from the left wing, trying to reconnect with Penny. Gladiators are able to thwart their plans as Lind is able to toss the puck out to center, where it glances off the stick of Nychuk and out of play on the far side with 13:39 to go in the first. Atlanta strikes first off the stick of Nolan Orzek to take an early 1-0 lead. We are back to South Florida after these words from our local partners.
Life's too short for ordinary whiskey. Make it infamous. Now available at Mega Package Store, 2820 Lawrenceville, Sewanee, Oregon, 4 miles from Gas South Arena.
More than just cookies.
Desserts now in rotation.
Gladiators with a 1-0 lead as Nolan Orzek's 5th goal of the season from Alex Young and Isaac Walter. 4:25 into the first. And has given them the upper hand early in this contest. If they shot from the right point, they hit a leg in front. Went to the back of the net behind Johnson. Not much the reigning ECHL goaltender of the year could have done on that one. And the Gladiators are looking for more. Big hit on the far wall. Sylvester got decked. Puck comes in front of Hyder. Sylvester back on his feet. Slaps off the far wall to the line where it's kept there. Chance in front. Blocked on the shot by Berzola. Rebound will roll to Orzek. Tries to escape. Nurse able to keep it in. Left circle. Delays for a shot by Lambden. That's flubbed wide, but it does draw a penalty. Johnson to the bench. Sylvester touches up, and Florida goes to the power play. Isaac Walter is the culprit. He will head to the box, and the Gladiators go to the Peter, Toyota, and Mazda penalty kill. Atlanta with 5 for 6 on the PK against Orlando on Monday. The only goal that was allowed was a 5-on-3 power play goal. Otherwise, it was a perfect day for the Gladiators on the PK, and a game where they faced a season-high 6 penalties against. Face off to the right of Hyder. Gladiators win it. Carson Denemy scoots it up the wall, but it is held onto by Needham. Brush it down the right wing below the goal line to Chow. We'll put it back up top. Sam Brook to Romano from the left wing, looking Able to put it back up top to the left point to Sambrook. He'll drift to his right, feed it that way. Estero to Romano from the left circle. He shoots. That's blocked by Mateer, and the Gladiators will clear. Atlanta's penalty kill this season operates at 82.1%, 15th best in the ECHL. For Florida, as good as they've been as a scoring team this year, their power play, 16.9%, bottom 10 unit in the league at 21st in the ECHL. Mickey Burns able to clear back out to center after Florida tried plunging back in. 12:10 to go in the first period. Gladiators lead 1-0. 1:03 left on the penalty to Walter as Chow glides down the left wing. Backhands it to the line to Sambrook. Now Romano cross ice for a shot by Cazzero. That's blocked by Jarvis. And O'Brien will clear. So far so good for the Gladiators on this PK. Walter in the box, 2 minutes for slashing. 40 seconds left on his sentence. Sillinger tries to angle it across, passes picked off by Young. Moves up ice short-handed, and Sillinger gets back there to squirm it away and turn back up ice for Florida. Jones from the right wing feeds it to the middle. Sillinger from the line, able to grasp it, put it to Landry. From the left wing, moves to the right. Jones back the other way, looking for Sillinger. Just a tad offline. Puck will be skated out by Nolan with 10 seconds left on the penalty to Walter. Sillinger and the Everblades come right back in. Bottled up on the entry along the left wing. Young with the takeaway. Puts it to the line and swipes it out as Walter is out of the box. Gladiators are 1 for 1 on the PK tonight with that successful kill. 10:49 left in the first period. Gladiators still with the lead. Florida puts the puck into the near corner as Jarvis, the defenseman, is able to haul it in. Francis from the right wing puts it to center circle. Orzek is there. He'll brush it to the right for Lynn. Off the wall, Francis the trailer. He'll swipe it to the left side for Orzek. He'll help it back up to the line for Jarvis, who reverses to the near wing for Francis. From the half wall, he'll scan the ice. He'll chuck it to the line where it bounces between Jarvis and Orzek and goes back out to the neutral zone. Delayed penalty on Florida. Hyder to the bench. Jarvis being pestered as Penny touches up. And just as quickly as they killed off that penalty to Walter, the Gladiators will go to the power play for the first time tonight. As tripping is the call on Sean Allen. And Atlanta is off to the Eco-Electric power play. Gladiators with a chance to double their lead here on the man advantage. Gladiators went 1 for 4 on the power play on Monday against Orlando. Jack Mateer scoring the PPG. Gladiators on the power play this season operate at 19.3%, 15th best in the ECHL. Going up against the third best penalty kill in the league, 87.4% for Florida. O'Brien gets to work in the near corner off the face-off victory. Find Walter behind the net. Now at the left point, it's Sylvester. To the right, it's Nyachuk. He'll drop it deeper for Young. From the half wall, returns it to Nyachuk. He'll drift left and push it back right. Young shoots, deflection in front. That's stopped by Johnson as O'Brien was lurking in front of the cage. Young forced out to the neutral zone. Chow up ice for Florida. Takes a shot shorthanded. That goes wide of the mark. A loose puck hauled in by Walter. Slingshots it to Nychuk, who executes another drop pass to Young. Alex Young in on the right side. Able to feed it back to Walter. Active stick from Kyle Betts. Forces Atlanta's plans back to center. O'Brien tried to quickly hustle back in, but Florida able to sniff that out as well. 1:02 left on the penalty to Allen. The Gladiators come back in on the left side. They'll feed it to the right. Young is there. Try to put a shot on goal, but that gets tipped wide by Landry. From the high of the cage, it's Nychuk. Moving to his backhand to find Walter. Cross-ice feed, off a stick, but makes it to Young in the corner. Young, from the right circle, turns towards the net, feeds it inside for Walter. His one-timer blocked in front. A chance for O'Brien. Shouldered away by Johnson and clear with 34 seconds left on this Atlanta power play. Second unit out on the ice for Atlanta. Mike McNamee leads the charge over the red line, bangs it to the right side, looking for Nolan. He gets caught up too. As the Everblades push out the center, pass behind Romano, short-handed. Hyder will sweep it away from him. Betts through the neutral zone, has it for Florida. Cuts to the inside, takes a shot that goes wide. Matira and McNamee both had sticks in the area. As the penalty to Allen has expired, and Florida has gone 1-for-1 on the penalty kill to start the night. 7:58 left in the first period. Puck will roll into Florida territory on an Atlanta icing with 7:52 to play in the first. For the Gladiators, a couple of good ideas on that power play, but all in all, not a whole lot going on. Seems like the puck has got a mind of its own here today, bouncing around a lot. We've seen it at both ends of the ice where the puck is on edge in the slot. Look out. Would be a good opportunity to score. The Gladiators had one of those chances on that power play, but weren't able to score on it, but did get a good backhand chance off from O'Brien. Gladiators able to sweep it out of their own end. Berzola glances it off the stick of Sillinger and in behind Hyder. Conroy, the first man on it. Florida with a takeaway, puts it in front. Shot by Duke, gets flubbed. They'll put it to the line, taking the return feed on the right side. They'll sauce it behind the net. Lammed in quickly as they rotate up top. Allen fires wide of Hyder. Now Duke at the right point. Takes a shot of his own. Goes off a stick and ends up behind Hyder again. Conroy tied up as Florida continues to rotate. Denemy on the near side. Backhands it up ice. Florida keep for the moment, but it will skitter out to center. With 7:05 left in the period. On the re-entry, the Everblades are offside, and the clock will stop with 7:03 left in the first. Both teams with chances on the power play, but nothing forthcoming there. It is still a 1-0 Atlanta lead, with Nolan Orzek scoring his 5th of the year. We are back to action in 1 minute on the Gladiators Broadcast Network after words from our local partners.
Gwinnett Fire and Emergency Services is ready to answer the call, but we'd rather prevent them. Our free home safety survey includes checking smoke alarms, identifying common hazards, and reviewing your family's home escape plan. Schedule yours today.
Wendy's has new chicken tenders. Crispy, juicy, tendery, tendies. Ooh, that's fun to say. Tendies, tendies, tendies. And they're so good, maybe we should change our... For tendies you're gonna know by name, gotta be Wendy's.
We're 20, and yeah, we're celebrating big. Because in 20 years, we didn't just make the gear, we made hockey cool. They said we were too loud, too flashy, too different. They told us to tone it down. The Warriors don't tone it down, we go full throttle. And this is just the start. 20 years in and we're just getting warmed up. We're still the brand that makes the gear you can win in, chirping, partying. And if we thought we were bold before, just wait. The next 20 years start now.
The last time the Gladiators were in this building, they won by the final score of 2-0, their first win in South Florida since April of 2023. The second goal was an empty net goal from Ryan Nolan. The game-winning goal came from a defenseman, Chad Nychuk, and the opening goal of today's game came from a defenseman in Nolan Orzek. Gladiators looking for more, but Florida pushing up ice. Pass to the left wing on time for Brar. Shot goes wide. Rebound to Denemy from the far wing. Able to nick it out to the neutral zone and not much more. Scardina tried to push the narrative, but Florida able to escape the heat. Brar will knife it into the far corner. Jarvis defending there. It'll leak behind Hyder where Orzek collects. Nolan outlets to Sylvester. From the neutral zone, the captain plays it back to Orzek. The Gladiators are in the midst of a partial change. Out on the ice is the first line now as Orzek whirls it from right to left. The far wing for Young. Quick slap just a tad away from Walter. Florida picks it up, shuffles it across the neutral zone for Chow on the left wing. Over the red line, taps it off the near corner. Hyder comes out to play it. They'll shovel it to his left where Sylvester drops it off for Young. Quickly they pass it to the right wing. Walter takes it on the run. Slammed into the wall by Cazzero. Those two battle for it in the far corner. Conroy in front. Puck directed in front of Johnson. And he will freeze it with 5:39 to go in the first. And I believe I did misspeak there for a second. Not in Orlando anymore. We're in North Charleston. The camera's on the same side as me, so that was the near corner, not the far. Going to take a little bit to get reacclimated here. We've actually got another timeout on the ice, so we'll take one as well. Gladiators still lead 1-0 in South Florida. We are, again, back after word from our local partners.
It's game day and Bucky's ready for action. From the moment he pulls up, it's all smiles, high fives, and Beaver Toyota pride. A quick stop for snacks and he's game ready. The energy in the arena starts to build because when Beaver Toyota and the Gladiators team up, the fun and excitement never stop. Catch Bucky at the next Gladiators game or visit us anytime at beavertoyotacoming.com.
5:39 left in the first period in South Florida. Face-off to resume it all will be to the left of Cam Johnson. Alex Hung in the first line, still out on the ice. Two blue liners, Nychuk and Mateer. As Florida wins the defensive zone face-off, Rizzolo rolls out to the right side. Tries to feed it through the neutral zone, but it ends up hitting a stick, and all in all, is an offside on Atlanta. 5:33 to go in the first, and the Gladiators are leading the shot count 7-2. And if you're with us for the start of the broadcast, that is uncharacteristic for the Everblades, as they only average 25 shots against per game. And that is the lowest figure out of any club in the ECHL so far this year. Florida slides it through the neutral zone. Chow on the right side. Stops on a dime. Feeds it inside. And wanted Needham in front, but Nychuk had him covered. Great defensive coverage there, but can't get out of the zone. They'll feed it to the right point for a shot. Fought off by Hyder. Rebound goes to McNamee, and he will just lob it to the neutral zone. As Burns will push it deeper. At the left point, Conroy keeps it alive. He'll take a shot. That gets blocked. Puck will tumble onto the stick of Chow. He'll skate it out to center. Softly angle it off the wall for Romano, and Conroy is able to take it away from there. Tried to hit Lind on the fly. Couldn't quite hang on to it as he juggled it through the neutral zone. Now Henry down the left wing. Gets caught up in a mop with Lind and Yoder. Meanwhile, Betts will go around the net and set up a chance for Landry. And that is gobbled up by Hyder with 4:27 left in the first. Ethan Hyder making his biggest save of the night so far, as Florida had a good opportunity, kind of just drew everybody to the near side. Created some open space as Betts was able to swoop out to the far end of the zone. Shrieking in was Landry, using that open area of the ice to take the pass and come in with speed and get a good shot off. But Hyder able to come up to the top of the crease, make the save, and keep it a 1-0 Gladiator lead. Face off to his left. Cipollone will take it against Betts, and looks like there's a false start there. They're going to look at the clock, and looks like we're good to go. And so Cipollone will now take this face off against Nurse and win it. The Gladiators throw it through center. Francis trying to speed into it against Landry. Puts some pressure on and forces a turnover. Lind dangles, centers in front. Francis couldn't punch it in. Now from the left side, they take a shot. That goes wide. Orzek from below the right circle exchanges with Lind. At the top of the circle, feeds it across. Cipollone is there for a shot. That's stopped by Johnson. Francis snatches the rebound. Working behind the net, creeps along the far side wall, makes his way to the line, and has Jarvis in the right circle. Jarvis to the inside for a shot that goes wide. Lind just a tad off target, and the Everblades will float it off the glass and into the scorer's table with 3:43 to go. Oh, what a chance, and what a good fight from Ryan Francis on that shift. Took the rebound from behind Johnson. Good rotation, able to set up that chance for Lind in the slot. And he just rifles it wide. That line has since set it off, but good shift for them. Fourth line comes on, Scardina, Denemy, and Nolan. As we'll see a face-off on the near circle of the Florida zone. Gladiators win it. Mateer quickly to Scardina, but he wasn't quite ready for it. Everblades sweep it out to center. Mateer will just jolt it back in. The Gladiators set up offensively. Denemy in deep, tries to shuffle it from corner to corner. Everblades are able to thwart those plans as they roll out to center. They'll chuck it down the right wing, foot race between Mateer and Sillinger. Quickly tapped behind the net. Bodies collide in the near corner as Jones and the Everblades cycle to the line. On the right side, Sam Brooks sets up Sillinger, cuts to the slot, dangle in front. Too much stick handling there. Gladiators strip it away. They keep it at the line, though. Sillinger again feeds it to the right side for a shot. That's stopped by Hyder. Nyachuk gets caught in the bind with Reed Duke. Fans urging for a penalty, but they're not going to get one. 2:49 left in the first period. Denemy pulls up and centers, looking for Young. At a glance off the stick and come out to neutral ice. Conroy bangs it in for Atlanta. The Gladiators put pressure on the forecheck. Young doing the heavy lifting. Walter in the corner as well. Slammed into the wall by Cooper. Young lurking as well. Young taking a couple of shoves from Cazzaro. Gladiators able to come away with it. Young escapes on the left wing. He'll turn and pass across. Sylvester taps it to the line for Yoder. Sylvester to Young. Slap shot over the cage. Rebound goes to Allen. Puck held in the clearing attempt by Conroy. They'll swoop behind the net and find Sylvester on the right wing. From the point, turn and drop it deeper. Puck will swirl to the left side where Florida is able to chuck it out to center as a big hit is thrown right in front of the bench. Brar, the recipient of that. Looks like he's feeling that a little bit. Hunched over on the Florida bench. 1:40 left in the first period. We're rolling on the left side of Hyder. Jarvis takes a check hard on the end wall from Cooper. Play getting physical here in this one. Burns will lob it out to the neutral zone. Puck will simmer into the Florida end. McNamee tries to catch up to it. Florida forced to retreat a bit deeper. O'Brien putting pressure on the forecheck, but the Everblades roll out to center. They'll brush it to the right wing, looking for Needham. Catch up to it at the end wall where he's checked by Jarvis. Needham gets stuffed again by Orzek. Puck leaks free. Jarvis with the takeaway as Atlanta knocks it off the near wall and out to the neutral zone. 2-on-1 up ice. O'Brien to McNamee off the stick of Needham as it went cross ice, and the Everblades will come away unscathed. Into the final minute of the first, puck roll in on the near side of the Gladiator zone. Hyder watches as Nychuk takes it through the neutral zone and puts it into Florida ice. From the near corner, it's Lind. Setting up a chance at the line. Rolls by Nychuk out to neutral ice. 33 seconds left in the first. Puck on the far wall. Nurse tries to get it out. Good pinch by Nychuk, trying to keep it alive. Lind has it for Atlanta. Working in the far corner, moves to his backhand and puts it to the line to Mateer. Mateer shoots, glove save Johnson with 17 seconds left in the first. The Gladiators have done a really good job getting shots on goal here in the first period and using every inch of the ice to their advantage. When they've had the puck in the offensive zone, they have been dangerous. And this third line has been right in the thick of it for him here today. Lind, Cipollone, Francis, they'll stay out there. A couple of really good chances there in the first period for Kalen Lind. Just can't quite get one to go for him. It feels like he's due. Face off to the left of Johnson on the near circle. It's a duel between the 271s, Cipollone and Jones. Jones to Victor, Florida out to center. Clock winding down in the first. Off the right wing, Nurse will chase it to the corner. Puck will leak to the near side. Jones in the area along with Nurse. Gladiators pin it up against the boards, and that'll end up being the end of the first period as time will run out on period 1 in South Florida. Gladiators get off to a great start. They strike first off of Nolan Orzek's 5th goal of the season. Assist belonging to Alex Young and Isaac Walter, the 2 usual suspects as of late. And Atlanta takes a 1-0 lead into the locker room after the first period of play. The Gladiators, when leading after 1 this season, are 10-1-1. Florida, when trailing after 1, are 4-3-0-1. This game far from over, but the Gladiators have the upper hand in the opening stages of this heavyweight battle between the top 2 teams in the South Division at this stage in the year. Coming up next on the Gladiators Broadcast Network is the first intermission report. Take a moment to recap the first period, look ahead to the second, and also take a peek at the out-of-town scoreboard and what it all means on a busy Wednesday night in the ECHL. All that coming up and a little bit more on the other side of the break, as it's Atlanta 1 and Florida 0 after 1 period of play from Hertz Arena in South Florida. We are back after this from our local partners.
Feels like everyone's trying to copy the $5 biggie bag. So how can you spot a knockoff? It won't taste like Wendy's. This job is easy. When the deal is as fresh as the meal, gotta be Wendy's.
Gotta be fresh.
Sometimes life's collisions leave us feeling off balance. But at 100% Chiropractic, we know how to get you back on track.
We don't just straighten you out, we empower you. We educate you on how to get to the root cause and give you a play-by-play strategy on how to get you back to 100%.
We even use lasers.
Lasers!
Our $49 first experience includes a complete set of comprehensive chiropractic x-rays, a fit 3D scan, and your first life-changing adjustment. Visit us and break the ice. Discover the power of chiropractic care at 100%.
When you need inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger. For thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And low prices that add up to big savings, like over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Gwinnett Fire and Emergency Services is ready to answer the call, but we'd rather prevent them. Our free home safety survey includes checking smoke alarms, identifying common hazards, and reviewing your family's home escape plan. Schedule yours today.
After 1 period of play here in South Florida, the Gladiators have a 1-0 lead over the Florida Everblades. As I'm Guy Chiarenza, bringing you into the first intermission report here after a pretty interesting first period between these 2 South Division teams. Normally, when 2 teams haven't seen each other for an extended period of time, get a bit of a feeling out process in the first period, a bit of a chess match between the 2 coaches. Ultimately, a lot of the times it ends up being low scoring, and that's exactly what we saw here in the first period between these 2 teams. And it's very similar to what we saw on Sunday afternoon in Orlando. It's been about a similar amount of time between last time the Gladiators had seen the Solar Bears, as it had been between the last time they'd seen the Everblades as the Gladiators, but the Solar Bears on October 23rd, and then saw them again on Sunday, and they hadn't seen the Everblades since October 24th, and now they see them again here today. So, been a few months since these 2 teams have gotten back together, and it certainly was worth the wait as the Gladiators and the Everblades had an epic first period, and it looks like this game is going to be a classic right down to the wire. And for the Gladiators, the important thing here tonight is they have stuck to their formula and they struck first. This is a Gladiators team that is very, very patient. They do not have a knee-jerk reaction to anything. They're very calm, they're very composed, and for a team that's got a lot of young guys on it, they play with a very veteran presence. They don't get fazed by anything. Tough environment in this building, in Hertz Arena. It's not the biggest building in the world. It's kind of like a shoebox. Low ceiling, sound really echoes, really reverbs, but for the Gladiators, they really kind of suck the atmosphere out of the building to start. They get that early goal in the opening 5 minutes from Nolan Orzek, and from there, they really controlled a lot of the pace of the first period. Now, Florida did have a few chances as the period went on, but felt like the Gladiators really came to play there in the first period. They brought the compete, they brought the energy, one of the keys to the game presented by Beaver Toyota Mazda, and they put together a very, very good first period against the reigning South Division champions. So back to the goal from Orzek, the only goal of the first period, as that goal was scored 4:25 into period one. A lot of things that the Gladiators did very well in that first period. One of them was the way that they used every inch of the ice in the first period to their advantage. I really thought that when Atlanta had chances in the Florida zone, it was because they were able to rotate the puck well, use their movement off the puck to kind of get the Everblades moving, create open areas of the ice, find those open areas, and take shots from them. And what the Gladiators did on that Orzek goal was pretty much just cycle the puck around the offensive zone, Walter to Young to Orzek, and he just takes a bid from the right point, and it goes off a leg. I believe it was the defenseman in front of Johnson, hits that leg and goes into the back of the net, and that's your opening score, and that's your only goal of the game to this point. If you're the Gladiators in a game like this, you take them any which way you can get them. A little bit of puck luck there for Nolan Orzek and the Gladiators, and Atlanta has a 1-0 lead, but it really felt like from that point on, the Gladiators did a really nice job of getting set-up chances in the slot. I really like the way that that third line was playing for the Gladiators there in the first period. As Kalen Lind, Joey Cipollone, and Ryan Francis really seemed to be working well together there in that first period. There were a couple of chances for Kalen Lind in that opening frame, just a bit off target. And it feels like for Lind, this is going to be the next step of his development, the next step of his evolution, is now he's finding ways to create those chances. Next step is to find a way to capitalize on them. Had a couple of really good chances there in the slot on feeds from Francis and Cipollone. Just couldn't get them to go. It feels like this is his kind of game, especially against a Florida team that is very stingy, very good, very physical, as we saw in parts there in that first period. They are the reigning South Division champions and 3-time Kelly Cup champions over the last few years because of that. And so for the Gladiators to put together a period like they did in the first period, got to be pretty pleased with the way that they played. It feels like if they continue to play that way, they're set up for a big second period here in enemy territory. And I'm going to have my eyes on that third line here tonight as Lind, Cipollone, and Francis, I thought, put together a pretty good first period there for the Gladiators. All in all, Gladiators outshoot the Everblades 7-4 in the first period of this contest. Looks like no Gladiator took more than one shot there in the first period, as looks like Orzek, who scored the goal, Young, O'Brien, Walter, Scardina, Lind, and Cipollone each registered a shot on goal for the Gladiators. And for the Everblades, out of their 4 shots on goal, 2 of those came off the stick of number 39 in green today, Lucas Sillinger. And for the Everblades, they did have some chances there in the first period, but Ethan Hyder came up with some pretty big saves there in the first, and the most notable to me was on a play where the Everblades used their speed to their advantage, kind of sucked everybody to the near side of the ice. Next thing you know, Kyle Betts is swooping around the net and sets up a chance for a defenseman streaking in Landry with wide open ice on the far side of the Gladiators zone. The Gladiators just, again, kind of got sucked into a vacuum on the near side. If there was any kind of breakdown in the first period for the Gladiators, that was about it. Again, very structured, very composed defensively, this Gladiators team is. Sets up that chance for Landry, but Hyder able to come out and make that save and keep it a 1-0 Gladiator lead at that point and at the end of the first period here. And it feels like for Ethan Hyder, every game he plays in as of late, he has risen to the occasion. And he is your ECHL goaltender of the week for last week with a 2-0 record, a goals against average of 1, and a .960 save percentage. Seems like Hyder's really hit his stride as of late. He's tied for second in the ECHL in wins with 13. And for the Gladiators, I've always felt this season that their biggest strength has been goaltending. From training camp to now, goaltending has been their best asset. And for Hyder and Semptenfelter, they have given the Gladiators in every single game this season a chance to win. And from there, the Gladiators, and the way that they play defensively, structurally, and the way that they absorb shots and block them, they have been an excellent defensive team this season. So much so that statistically, they are the best defensive team in the ECHL, only averaging 2 goals against per game this season. That's the best figure in the league. And they're going up against a Florida team that is just about as good defensively as they are, but can also score. And so I'm interested to see which ends up being the better out of the 2 teams this season, Florida's scoring or Atlanta's team defense. For the Everblades, they are the 6th best scoring team in the ECHL, averaging 3.39 goals for per game this season. And so I'm going to see which bends, which breaks here in this 3-game set. So far in the first period, the better of the 2 has been the Gladiators' team defense and their goaltending. We'll see if that trend continues in the second period and onward. On the other side of the break, we will take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard and see what's going on here on a Wednesday night in the ECHL. As for us, I'll leave you with a question before we go. What college did you go to? Or if you didn't go to college, what college do you root for? And I bring that up because the next time the Everblades and the Gladiators meet in Duluth will be on Wednesday night next week for college night at Gas South Arena. So comment below in our YouTube live chat what college you went to or what college you root for. And we'll check it all out on the other side of the break. After one period is Atlanta 1 and Florida 0. We are back for more first intermission action on the other side of the break after a word from our local partners.
It's game day and Bucky's ready for action. From the moment he pulls up, it's all smiles, high fives, and Beaver Toyota pride. A quick stop for snacks and he's game ready. The energy in the arena starts to build because when Beaver Toyota and the Gladiators team up, the fun and excitement never stop. Catch Bucky at the next Gladiators game or visit us anytime at beavertoyotacoming.com.
We're 20, and yeah, we're celebrating big. Because in 20 years, we didn't just make the gear, we made hockey cooler. They said we were too loud, too flashy, too different. They told us to tone it down. The Warriors don't tone it down, we go full throttle. And this is just the start. 20 years in and we're just getting warmed up. We're still the brand that makes the gear you can win in, chirping, partying. And if you thought we were bold before, just wait. The next 20 years start now.
Need to build a professional brand? Alpha Graphics delivers with stunning signage, graphics, and marketing materials that are exactly what you need to earn clients' trust. Alpha Graphics. Bring your brand to life.
Life's too short for ordinary whiskey. Make it infamous. Now available at Mega Package Store, 2820 Lawrenceville, Sewanee, Oregon, 4 miles from Gas South Arena.
Gwinnett Fire and Emergency Services is ready to answer the call, but we'd rather prevent them. Our free home safety survey includes checking smoke alarms, identifying common hazards, and reviewing your family's home escape plan. Schedule yours today.
Gladiators up 1-0 over the Florida Everblades after 1 period of play. I'm Guy Chiarenza with you here for the second half of the first intermission report, as we are about 5-ish minutes away from second period action here in South Florida. For the Gladiators, their lone goal in the first period came off the stick of Nolan Orzek, assist going to Alex Young and Isaac Walter. And what an addition Nolan Orzek has been to this team. That came over in that same trade along with Jack O'Brien. And Orzek on the scoring side of things have been a bit quiet as of late. O'Brien, not so much with a 4-point performance on Sunday in Orlando. But for Orzek, one of those pieces in that trade, he's been great. He's been that right shot defenseman that they've needed on their back end, and he supplied them some offense this season, as he has 2 goals and 2 assists in 11 games with Atlanta. This is 11th here this season with the team. And so those 2 pieces are going to be critical for the Gladiators in their hunt for the playoffs, and hopefully a Kelly Cup once they make it there, should they make it there, as they are well on track to do so at this point with the way they've been playing. And so we'll see how that trade impacts things as the season goes on, but so far so good in that regard. And how good has Alex Young and Isaac Walter been so far this season? Young with the assist now has 2 goals and 2 assists in his last 3, 4 goals and 2 assists in his last 5. And for Walter, he extends his point streak to 5 games, 2 goals and 3 assists in his last 5 contests. So the Gladiators are playing some of their best hockey at the right time of the year. It really feels like at this stage, late January, early February, this is where you see teams that make some noise in the playoffs really start to gain some traction and hit their stride as they make that push for the playoffs, look to carry that momentum into the postseason. For the Gladiators, they're hoping to be one of those teams at the end of the year, and it starts with a successful road trip to which this point the Gladiators have gone 2-0-1 on with points in their last 5. Atlanta seems to be catching fire as of late, and we'll look for another statement win here in South Florida in the first game of a 3-game set against the Everblades. Before I left, before we went to break, I asked everybody, I asked you, the audience, what college you went to, or if you didn't go to college, what college you root for, as the next time the Gladiators are back at home, they will be playing these Florida Everblades on college night, next Wednesday night at Gas South Arena. Feels like it's been forever since the Gladiators were back at home. And so we certainly are enjoying the Florida sun here on our road trip, but even more so, we're looking forward to getting back home to see all of you fans. And so make sure you are there for college night at Gas South Arena. And if you are a current college student, there are some deals for you on that night. Make sure you go to AtlantaGladiators.com and check them all out. As for me, I'm going to check our YouTube live chat and see where all of our good friends went to college. Looks like Fuzzy went to the University of New Orleans. Roots for LSU and Tulane, and really any school located in Louisiana. Looks like Daffy Doo went to Georgia Gwinnett College. Doesn't hurt to stay local. Daniel went to Oglethorpe University. Looks like Shahiro Naki went to Wesleyan, I never heard of that school before. Hope I'm pronouncing it right. College in Macon. And it looks like they're getting a hockey team this year. That's awesome. Looks like Tyler Alexander roots for Murray State. Heather Morrison went to the real GSU, Georgia State University. And looks like Stadium Arena is rooting for the University of Alabama. Crimson Tide. Liliana went to KSU, repping the Owls. And Karen going for GSU, Georgia State, for college night, but did graduate from King's College in Pennsylvania. A lot of good college represented in our YouTube live chat. For me, I'm a University of Utah alum. I'm a proud Ute. And I will be pulling out my red tie for college night at Gas South Arena on Wednesday. Looks like Glad's fan roots for Penn State. Looks like our president, Jared Youngman, in the chat as well. As we are getting set for second period action here in South Florida. Both teams back out on the ice. Gladiators wearing their white jerseys with blue numbers. And Gladiator goal trim will skate from right to left in the middle frame. For the Everblades, they're wearing their classic green jerseys with white numbers in blue trim. They skate from left to right in period number 3. Other noteworthy news from the first period. Lone goal scored by Nolan Orzek. And both teams got one crack at it on the power play, but so far, good night to be a penalty killer as both teams are 1 for 1 on the PK. We will see what the second period brings. Cam Johnson ends up stopping 6 of 7. Ethan Hyder, 4 of 4, as the Gladiators outshoot the Everblades 7-4 through one period of play here in enemy territory. Joey Cipolone in that third line, put in some good work there in the first period. They're out there to start the second. Cipolone meets Betts at center circle. And the puck is down, and we are back to live action. Florida wins that face-off. Sambrook D to D connects with Estero. He'll shuffle it to the neutral zone. Yoder had his man tied up at the red line as the puck will roll in behind Hyder. Gladiators swoop it out from that area, out to the blue line, pestered by Nurse. Conroy loses it. Betts grabs it at the blue line and chucks it deeper where Yoder has it covered. Turnover on the right side. Lambden took it in, but thankfully for the Gladiators, he was well offside. Clock will stop 27 seconds into the second period. And both teams will take this opportunity to get a line change in. And for the Gladiators, out onto the ice, the first line. Sylvester, Young, Walter, two blue liners, Mateer and Nychuk. Nychuk had a 3-game point streak snapped on Monday in Orlando. But Jack Mateer's really picked up the slack as of late. As you have a whistle off the face-off. And what do we have here? Looks like they were trying to fix up the clock a little bit. And so we'll put this down now, and we are back to live action. Gladiators win that face-off. Nychuk to Sylvester, and now Mateer, who has points in each of his last 3 games. He'll put it down behind Johnson as the Gladiators look to set up shop offensively. Florida comes barging out the center, and so have to put a pin in that for the moment. Walter slams it down the left wing. Johnson out to play it from the trapezoid. Backhands it up and around the near side. Turns it over in between the circles, but Florida able to escape. They'll move up ice with speed. From the left wing, Needham scoots it to the right side. Sylvester gets a stick on it, but Brazola is able to punch it deeper. They'll set up a shot from the left circle as they put it to the slot. Hyder able to fight it off. Second opportunity, hits the outside of the post on the near side and ends up staying out. And the Gladiators will end up icing the puck in a hurry with 1 minute and 23 seconds gone by in the second. A bit of a miscue for the Gladiators there, and they panic. End up icing the puck, and so that first line, along with the 2 defensemen, Mateer and Nychuk, forced to stay out there, and there's some tired Gladiators on the ice, a bit punched over after that icing. Can't make a change. Face off to the right of Hyder. Gladiators win it. Mateer pounds it off the far wall, kicked in and held in at the line by Henry. Florida looking to get to work. They'll shove it behind the Gladiator netminder. Nychuk will pull the puck in, float it through the neutral zone. Walter has it roll away from him, but now we can finally get off for a line change. As Florida stretches it to the right wing, Duke off balance, could pull in the puck. Gladiators from the near corner, get it to McNamee on the left side, and upwards he goes. Over the red line, moving in tandem with Burns. Everblades are able to force it down deeper as they end up icing the puck. Just 1 second under 2 minutes gone by. Bit of an odd play there. Gladiators stuffed on the zone entry, but they do force an icing out of Florida to set up an offensive zone face-off, as it looks like the second line will stay out on the ice. And this second line looking a bit different here today. Mickey Burns on that second line, which I think is a welcome change, as Burns, first full season out of Mercyhurst, 4 goals, 2 assists, 6 points in 35 games. It feels like we have yet to see him at his best this season. Hopefully, being on this line with O'Brien, who's been a sensational playmaker, and McNamee, who is a few pro years under his belt, he can hit his stride here in South Florida. Certainly has the capabilities to do so. Puck on the far wall, board battle. O'Brien trying to escape the heat. At the line, Burns keeps it alive. We'll put it off the end wall. McNamee is there. Florida able to float it from there out to the neutral zone where Burns reels it back in. Shuffles it to McNamee on the left wing. He'll prod it back to Jarvis. Scanning the ice, finds his D partner Orzek. They'll motor through the neutral zone. Orzek rushes it to the right side. O'Brien, a shot sticked away by Johnson. McNamee swirls it to the right point for Nolan. They'll sauce it to O'Brien, who has it scrubbed off his stick by Landry. And the Everblades get out to the neutral zone as they slingshot it up ice to Nurse. He's taken into the near corner by Orzek. From the trapezoid, the Gladiators control. Conroy slinks out, creeping down the right wing. Gains some speed through the neutral zone and comes flying into Florida ice. Conroy shoots off a leg and wide. Rebound handled by Dennery. Turned to Conroy on the left side, but Florida is able to weasel out to center. Nolan reels the puck back in for the Gladiators as Atlanta continues to control. From the red line, contested puck, tossed into Florida ice. Everblades look up ice as Sambrook floats it down the right wing where Hyder comes out to play it in the trapezoid. They'll shovel it up to the right point where Sambrook keeps it alive. Sets up a shot from the left point by Berzola, and that goes wide of the mark. From behind the net, Oliver. Quick sets up to the left circle. Snapshot's flubbed on by Allen. And in the neutral zone, Denemy will jockey for it with Cooper. Those two go down on the far walls. The puck leaks out to center. Reeling it in is Lambden. Drops it off for Romano. Back across. Lambden alone. Delays for Berzola. Oh, what a play by Scardina to break it up. Linda Bice racing for it. Beat out to the puck by Kyle Betts. And Betts shoving down Lynn well behind the play. And we're not going to see any penalties on that sequence. Both teams wanted them, but they didn't get them. Francis from the left wing scans the ice. Forced out to center, and now we have a delayed penalty on the Everblades. Hyder to the bench, Mateer controlling, pressured by Betts, but he'll hang on 6-on-5 for the Gladiators. They'll remain that way until they either score or Florida touches up, and Francis somehow able to escape. Gladiators roll out through the neutral zone, and now they turn it over as Needham gets a stick on it, and the Gladiators, for the second time tonight, will go to the Eco-Electric power play. So going to the box is Kyle Betts. The call? Tripping. Gladiators 0 for 1 on the power play so far tonight. And they'll send out the top unit to begin their second. Face off to the left of Johnson. Young will take it with Walter, O'Brien, Sylvester, and Nychuk. Going up against the Florida penalty killers in Sambrook, Allen, Needham, and Chow. Florida wins the D-zone face-off. Quickly get it to Chow. Tries to slide it out, and the puck does get by Sylvester. Gladiators will have to start this power play from the deep end. Captain Cody Sylvester, 1 point away from .550 in his pro career. Slides it to the right wing for O'Brien. Make that Young, who's able to make his way in. From the right point, Nychuk pulls it in, goes across ice to Sylvester. Return to Nychuk. Quickly cycle back to Sylvester. Nychuk again puts a shot off a leg and wide. Needham with the block, feeling that a bit as he grimaces, getting back up to his feet. Meanwhile, Nychuk fakes a shot from the line, sets up Sylvester, fakes the shot himself, feeds it down low to O'Brien, as they'll scoot it up to the right point to Sylvester once more. Cross ice, Nychuk on time, back to Sylvester. One touch pass to Young. He'll peel away. Dancing at the right point, turns towards the net. He'll shoot. That just goes wide. Now it's Nychuk again from the left point. Quick passing, they get it to Walter on the left side. Leaves it for Nychuk, closing in on the wall. Sets up O'Brien from the left circle. Shoots in front. Nychuk wanted the tip, but it again goes wide. 42 seconds left on the power play as Young cuts inside and takes a shot. Not a lot on it. Johnson covers and freezes with 13:52 to go in the second period and 39 seconds left on the penalty to Kyle Betts. Good idea from the first unit. Couldn't quite get the job done. On comes the second. Cipollone, Nolan, Francis, Mateer, and McNamee. That was the unit that scored on the power play for the Gladiators on Monday night in Orlando. A false start on the face-off to the right of Johnson. And looks like McNamee will take this face-off as Cipollone is kicked out. So Francis will station at the right point. McNamee will take this face-off against make that Jet Jones. And Florida is able to swipe it out to the neutral zone. Gladiators have to reset. Here, controlling. Look for an outlet pass as he drops it off for Francis. Even for McNamee, he'll come to the blue line. Laid offside on Francis, and they do call him for offside on the entry. That'll put a pin in it. 13 seconds left on the penalty to Betts. And 13:26 remains in the second period. And to this point, Florida has yet to take a shot on goal here in the second period. Gladiators have taken one. 6:34 gone by in the second period. Face-off won by Florida. They'll wait behind Johnson as long as they can. Smack it out to the neutral zone. Jarvis waiting for everybody to get back on side. Rolls it to Orzek, and the Gladiators come back in, but the penalty is over. Florida's back to even strength. Betts out of the box. He'll join the play. From the far corner, Gladiators digging for it. Lind to Cipolo. Behind the cage is Francis. Couple of nifty stick moves. Able to weasel his way to the far wall. Francis passes inside. Orzek dangles, but he can't get a shot off. They'll brush it behind the net to Lind. Out in front, mopped up by Henry. From the right point, Francis shoots. Blocked in front by Berzola. He will sidestep out to the neutral zone with 12:39 left in the second. Stretch pass intercepted by Betts, intended for Denemy. Good look from Cipolone to Denemy, but Everblades are able to pick it free. Battle in front of the Everblades bench. Cipolone will cast it into the near corner. Gladiators get a line change in. On comes the fourth line fully as Duke takes it in at his own blue line. Pass ahead for Lambden, makes its way to Hyder. He'll shove it to the near corner. On a backspin, it's chucked back to Yoder in the far corner. Conroy will emerge from behind Hyder. Has Yoder on the right wing. Over the red line, brushes it into Florida territory and chases it into the far corner. Puck will be shipped behind Johnson. Everblades find Lambden on the near side. Stretch pass, well away from Sillinger. Hyder from the trapezoid plays it. Up the near wall it goes. Everblades get a hand on it. From the left wing, it's Cazzero. Quick touch pass to Lambden at the line. He'll take a shot. Glove save, Hyder. 11:32 to go in the second period. Hyder has snagged Florida's first shot on goal in the second period. There remains a 1-0 Gladiators lead when we come back to South Florida after a word from our local partners.
Why choose between getting things done and doing things with the ones you love? With Kroger's same-day pickup and delivery, it's easy to shop the same great prices and quality you'd find in-store, so you can catch more family time. We'll bring your groceries right to you. Satisfaction guaranteed, so you can spend time on what matters most. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Need to build a professional brand? Alpha Graphics delivers with stunning signage, graphics, and marketing materials that are exactly what you need to earn clients' trust. Alpha Graphics. Bring your brand to life.
Wendy's has new chicken tenders. Crispy, juicy, tendery, tendies. Ooh, that's fun to say. Tendies, tendies, tendies. And they're so good, maybe we should change our... For tendies you're gonna know by name, gotta be Wendy's.
11:32 to go in the second period. Gladiators out shooting the Everblades 8-5. Both teams have one shot on goal here in the second period thus far. Florida's came right before the timeout. Glove save made by Ethan Hyder. Faceoff will be to his right as the first line will set up shot for the Gladiators on the draw. Faceoff won by the Everblades. From the left point, knock it off the wall to Romano. Pass downhill, broken up by Nychuk. Sent out to the neutral zone. Big hit in front of the Florida bench. Young, the recipient. As Penny through the check. Nychuk from the left wing. Works his way over the attacking line. Walter from the half wall. Puts it up top to Nychuk. He'll take a shot into traffic. And that is snagged by Johnson with 11:07 on the clock in the second period. First line will remain on the ice, as will the D pairing of Nychuk and Mateer. And when those two have been available in the Gladiators lineup, they have been the Gladiators' best D pairing. Nychuk outstanding offensively and defensively this season for the Gladiators. Really a breakout year for him. And Mateer quietly playing some of his best hockey as of late, really heating up offensively. Has been a great stay-at-home defenseman for Atlanta so far this season when he's been in their lineup. As a long shot from the neutral zone goes into the glove of Hyder, and he will melt it down with a 10:57 left in the second. Faceoff will be to his right. This game feels like it's really slowed down to a crawl as of late. Again, first line still out there with the D pairing of Nychuk and Mateer. For Florida, they have changed personnel. On is the top line with Needham and Chow. And off that faceoff, Florida wins it. Shot by Cazzaro, whistles wide of Hyder. Puck goes into the far corner. Nychuk digs it free from there. Now Mateer rolls it up the wall, but it's held in by Cazzaro. He'll take another shot. Hyder the save. The rebound swept away by Nychuk. From behind the net, they put it in front. Hyder another save. Stop attempt by Needham. And Hyder foils his plans. Needham keeps it alive at the line. As Cazzaro, he'll go around the net. Cazzaro on his forehead, puts it up top. Sambrook back to Cazzaro. From the high slot, he shoots. Hyder fights it off. Florida pressuring here. Cazzaro again from the line. A bomb goes wide. Nychuk and company just lifts it through the neutral zone. Walter races after it to beat out an icing in the near corner. Much needed for these Gladiators. He gets slammed into the corner as O'Brien leaps onto the ice. He'll join that play in the corner. Pump it over to the far wall. Setting up shop at the line is Orzek. Stutter step, drifting right, able to create some separation. Orzek centers where it's swept away in front by Cazzaro. Long shift for him. But a good one. He gets off to the bench for Florida. Now O'Brien from the left wing pulls up at the points. Sauces it down deeper for Burns. Checked in the corner. Puck leaks free. It's hauled in by the Everblades. And away goes Betts. Running it down to the end wall. Checked by Jarvis. Puck rolls into the near corner. Gladiators able to have a hand on it as Burns knocks it to Jarvis. No outlet to McNamee on the right wing. As he floats it to the left side, intended for Burns, but picked off by Landry. Active stick by Burns, almost forces a turnover, but Florida able to hang on to it for now. 9 minutes left in the second period. Atlanta still with a 1-0 lead. Romano from the left wing. Bottled up by Orzek. They'll dig for it in the far corner, as the puck will drift up the wall to Romano. Backhand swipe it to the trapezoid. Waiting there is Jones. Pass to the inside. Intercepted by O'Brien. And dangerously put on goal, where it's poke checked away by Hyder. Up by Sco the Gladiators. Francis to the inside. Pass is broken up by Berzola. Held in along the far wall for a moment, but Berzola able to sauce it out to center. Romano takes it on the right wing. Drop pass on time for Allen. Shot blocked away by Hyder. Momentum carries the puck out to center. They'll put it into open space for Cipollone to skate into it. Puck is scrubbed off his stick by Berzola, the defenseman for Florida. No outlet to the neutral zone where Conroy is able to haul the puck in. Contested at center circle. Nolan looks to split the D. Nolan in front as it's swiped away by Johnson. They'll get it back behind the cage. Nolan on the backhand centers. Broken up by Penny. Held in at the line. Get it to the right wing half wall for a shot in front. Sticked away by Johnson. Puck will drift down to the neutral zone. Nolan fires it back into Florida ice. From the near corner, Denemy checks up his man. Berzola tries to push it out. Denemy pressuring. Puck will go to the far wall now as it's reeled in by Penny. And from center, he will put it into Atlanta ice with 7:10 left in the second. Stretch pass to Denemy. He gets crunched by Sambrook. Able to spin out of most of it. as he gets off, complete a line change. First line back out on the ice for Atlanta. Still a 1-0 Gladiator lead. Pass to the right wing on time for Needham. Pulls up at the half wall, looking over his options. Drops it down deeper to Nurse. He sliders it to the left wing for Cazzero. Shot stopped by Hyder. Rebound swept out to the neutral zone where Florida regains possession. Puck dumped down, Hyder out to play it. Quickly finds Orzek, who spins out of a check. Atlanta floats it through the neutral zone. Sylvester chasing. Sambrook will beat him out to the puck. Sambrook from the right wing tosses it up to the Atlanta line. Over it is Needham. From the left side, he shoots. That goes wide of Hyder. At the right point, it's Landry. Sidestep shot, blocked by Sylvester. The puck will go out of play with 6:06 to go in the second period. Timeout on the ice. We'll take one as well. Gladiators 1, Everblades nothing here in South Florida.
It's game day and Bucky's ready for action. From the moment he pulls up, it's all smiles, high fives, and Beaver Toyota pride. A quick stop for snacks and he's game ready. The energy in the arena starts to build because when Beaver Toyota and the Gladiators team up, the fun and excitement never stop. Catch Bucky at the next Gladiators game or visit us anytime at beavertoyotacoming.com.
Why choose between getting things done and doing things with the ones you love? With Kroger's same-day pickup and delivery, it's easy to shop the same great prices and quality you'd find in-store, so you can catch more family time. We'll bring your groceries right to you, satisfaction guaranteed, so you can spend time on what matters most. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Gladiators lead the Everblades 1-0 here. We are approaching the bottom portion of the second period. 6:06 to go in the middle frame. Face off to the left of Hyder. Shot count 9-8 in favor of the Gladiators. Off the face-off, shot by Landon. That goes wide of Hyder. From the left wing, Everblades sauce it down deeper. Betts behind the cage, looking to get to work. Shuffles it to the right corner. We're skating into it is Landry. Work his way up to the line. Feed it across from the left wing. A shot goes wide off the stick of Henry. They'll jumble to the end wall where Yoder has his man pinned up, and the puck rolls in on Hyder. He covers, and afterwards some bad blood between O'Brien and Betts. O'Brien getting his first taste of this rivalry, beating Kyle Betts, the former Grizzly. And, yep, it's another timeout on the ice. We've hit another mark. Cue the commercials. We're back after this.
Wendy's has new chicken tenders. Crispy, juicy, tendery, tendies. Ooh, that's fun to say. Tendies, tendies, tendies. And they're so good, maybe we should change our... For tendies you're gonna know by name, gotta be Wendy's.
Need to build a professional brand? Alpha Graphics delivers with stunning signage, graphics, and marketing materials that are exactly what you need to earn clients' trust. Alpha Graphics. Bring your brand to life.
More than just cookies.
Desserts now in rotation.
We have hit our quota on the commercials for the second period. 6:06 on the whistle before. We got the under 10 out of the way, and now with 5:42 left in the second period, we have got our under 6. We are good to go. Scores from around the league, especially in the South Division. We got one other game in the South going on here tonight, and that is the Utah Grizzlies hosting the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. That game set to start later on in the night. Gladiators are rooting for a Grizzlies victory against Greenville. In other news, Wheeling and Maine are tied 1-1. Adirondack leads Trois-Rivières 3-1. Tahoe and Bloomington are tied 1-1. And the only other active games here tonight. From Atlanta ice, O'Brien tries to nick it out of his zone, but it's held in by Lambden, drifting left. Tries to get around Mateer. Tough task. Mateer had it covered. Clearing attempt, held in at the line for a shot that goes wide. Now one goes wide of Hyder. Pass to the slot. Makes its way to the circle. Gladiators are able to jumble it free where it bounces at the line. Put inside to Duke. Backhand chance. Oh, what a stop by Hyder. Are you kidding me? Kicks up the right pad and a scorpion save. Unbelievable. Oh, Duke 1-on-1 with Hyder. And that is the reigning goaltender of the week. And we just found out why. Conroy from the left wing. Backhands a shot into the gullet of Johnson. He will freeze with 4:43 to go. Ethan Hyder is playing some kind of way. That is a bad, bad man. There is a new sheriff in town. Unbelievable. I think Duke thought he had Hyder shaken out of his boots. Hyder down on his belly. Kicks up his right pad with his scorpion save to keep it out on the backhand try from Duke. And I think for Duke, he might have actually kind of juked himself out of a good scoring chance by taking away his own angle, trying to go around Hyder. But either way, Ethan Hyder, another good candidate for save of the week and maybe even save of the year. Incredible shot by Francis. Goes wide of Johnson. And bodies collide in the neutral zone as things get physical here. Florida from there finds Sillinger in front of the Gladiators bench. He's the brother of Cole Sillinger, the NHL player. Sillinger takes a shot from the left wing that goes wide of Hyder. Now one for the right side is gobbled up by the Atlanta netminder with 4:12 to go. And Florida here in the second period has come out in a flurry, out shooting the Gladiators 6-3 in the middle frame. And it really does feel like Florida has had the better chances in the second period. Gladiators maybe a bit on their heels here towards the end of the second. Face off to the left of Hyder. Fourth line out for the Gladiators. Scardina on the face-off, wins it to Denemy. Has it knocked off his stick. Puck will go to the corner. Jarvis from there tries to lift it off the glass and out, but it's held in by Landry at the right point. He'll feed it to his left. Waiting there is Sillinger. Returns it to Landry. He'll find Henry in open space. He fires a shot into the glove of Hyder with 3:53 to go. We'll see another face-off near Ethan Hyder as Florida now, for the first time tonight, has taken the lead in the shot count, 11-10. Face-off on the near circle, Scardina went up against Oliver. Scardina the victor to Nychuk. Well, Chuck at the center circle where it's pulled in by Nurse. Trying to jumpstart things for Florida offensively. From the left point, somehow able to hang on to the puck as he is checked hard, sandwiched between Scardina and Nolan. Sends Atlanta up to Florida ice, but not for long. They ice it with 3:31 to go, and we will see a face-off back near Ethan Hyder. Face-off on the far circle. Fourth line still forced to stay out there because of the icing. Florida not opting to change, though. Gladiators win the face-off. They'll rainbow it through neutral ice. And now complete a line change as the first line comes on, partially. Down the middle, it's Penny. Forced to the outside. Takes a shot from the left wing. That goes wide of Hyder. Rebound grabbed by Cooper, and he can't hang on. Nychuk into attacking ice. And Florida has iced the puck as they watched off his stick. 2:59 left in the second period. Face-off will be to the left of Johnson. That Cooper line with Penny and Brar has been out there for quite some time. It's this Gladiators first line that had just come on recently. Florida wins the D-zone draw. Defenseman Berzola looking things over. Just hangs on to it for now as his guys get off for a change. Allen from the right wing wires it to the left side. Met there by Orzek, kept alive by Chow. Fling it to the right side, where off the bench is Sambrook. Puts it to the trapezoid, where Chow crunched at the end while puck rolls in front of Hyder. Pinballs there, and is swept to the outside. Chow and the Everblades keep possession. Allen at the left point, spins to keep it alive. Walter forces him out the center, and Sylvester tries to start things up ice for Atlanta. Florida has other plans, 2:13 to go. Put it to the end wall. Jarvis chucks it through the neutral zone. Skating after it is Burns on the forecheck as Atlanta gets a change in. Sambrook up ice off the stick of Chow with a roll in towards Hyder, and he will keep the play alive, using his glove to swipe it over to Conroy. Off the right wing wall, pass away from McNamee. They'll gun down the right wing, looking to catch up to it. Working with Burns, they do so. Burns shoved into the corner wall by Betts. McNamee probing, looking to get the puck back as time dwindles down on the second period. 1:33 left as this play is ground to a halt. Florida able to take the puck away as the fans urge play to continue. Pass up ice, intercepted by Conroy, draped all over him is Reed Duke. Conroy able to escape, powers down the left wing, puts it behind the cage where Johnson will leave it for Landry. Pass up ice on the money for Duke, but he is squashed off it by Nychuk. Up ice goes Lynn, toe drag, off the post with the shots. Nychuk from the left wing, takes one of his own. That gets blocked by Duke. Atier holds it in at the right point, slaps it down the wall to O'Brien. From behind the net, Francis reels it in. Shifts to his forehand from the left circle, goes across for a shot, and that hits the post from Cipolone. Just a little more inside, eh? Nychuk from the left wing, turned away by Johnson, and the Everblades will clear through the neutral zone with 33 seconds to go. Nychuk wraps it around the boards behind the net. Pinching there is Cipolone. Everblades again, able to throw it out to center. Jarvis from the red line will send the puck out of play with 17.4 to go. Coming up next on the Gladiators Broadcast Network, at the end of the second period, we will have the second intermission report. We'll recap the first two periods of play, look ahead to period 3, as the Gladiators are clinging to a lead of the slimmest of margins, 1-0. Center circle face-off, Scardino will take it against Jones. The Bowling Green State product wins it for Atlanta. Jarvis from the red line puts it into Florida ice. 8 seconds to go. Berzola lobs it to the neutral zone. Jarvis collects. Enemy up ice, but not enough time. Second period comes to a close. Gladiators still hanging on to that 1-0 lead. As afterwards, Allen getting into it with a group of Gladiators in the far corner, right in front of the Gladiator tunnel. Sean Allen, tough customer, that one is. Certainly known for making some noise in his career. 7th year in the ECHL, 2nd year with Florida for Allen, and it seems like every year he's one of the league leaders in penalty and minutes. Sets the stage quite nicely for what is going to be an exciting third period, and certainly a game that is going to come right down to the finish. But it's a Gladiators game. Do you expect any different? Atlanta 1, Florida 0. That is your score after 2 periods of play. Coming up next, the second intermission report will break down the first 2 periods. Look ahead to period 3. Take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. See what it all means as we look ahead the third period and the rest of this three-game slate between the Gladiators and the Everblades. All that coming up on the other side of the break. Atlanta 1, Florida nothing. We are back after this.
Feels like everyone's trying to copy the $5 biggie bag. So how can you spot a knockoff? It won't taste like Wendy's. This job is easy. When the deal is as fresh as the meal, gotta be Wendy's.
Sometimes life's collisions leave us feeling off balance. But at 100% Chiropractic, we know how to get you back on track.
We don't just straighten you out, we empower you. We educate you on how to get to the root cause and give you a play-by-play strategy on how to get you back to 100%.
We even use lasers.
Lasers!
Our $49 first experience includes a complete set of comprehensive chiropractic x-rays, a fit 3D scan, and your first life-changing adjustment. Visit us and break the ice. Discover the power of chiropractic care at 100%.
When you need inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger. For thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And low prices that add up to big savings, like over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Gwinnett Fire and Emergency Services is ready to answer the call, but we'd rather prevent them. Our free home safety survey includes checking smoke alarms, identifying common hazards, and reviewing
Gladiators with the lead after 2 periods of play, and it is the same story as what we had after the first period. 1-0 your score, Atlanta with the lead, and feels like it's very similar, almost deja vu to the last game the Gladiators played in this building. Just a 1-0 lead for much of the game, and last time it worked out pretty well for the Gladiators. Ended up with a 2-0 victory. They're hoping for a similar story here tonight between themselves and the Everblades in the first game of a 3-game slate here in the midst of the Gladiators' longest road trip of the season. It is worth noting that at the end of the second period, there was a bit of a scuffle right in the far corner, right in front of the exit to the Gladiators' tunnel. And it ended up being that Sean Allen was right in the thick of it for the Everblades and the group of Gladiators. And he has been assessed a roughing penalty at the end of the second period. So that will put the Gladiators on the power play to start the third period. And that could prove pivotal because the Gladiators' power play has been money as of late. Went 3 for 9 in the 2 games against Orlando. They are 0 for 2 so far here today, up against one of the best penalty kills in the ECHL, but it is a chance to take the lead and double it for the Gladiators, and an insurance goal would certainly be nice as a 1-0 lead against a team like Florida. All it takes is a bounce, a breakaway, anything of that like to make it a 1-1 tie. So for the Gladiators, they will look to double their lead on the power play to start the third. And so here is your recap. Not a whole lot to this point in terms of scoring. Just 1 goal. Came back in the first period. 4:25 in. Nolan Orzek gives the Gladiators the lead. His 5th goal of the season comes from Alex Young and Isaac Walter. And a pretty simple play from Orzek from the right point. Just decides to take a shot towards the goal, and a couple bodies were tied up there. Shot ends up hitting the defenseman in front of Johnson. Ends up going to the back of the net for the Gladiators. You take him any which way you can get him. And that has been the only goal of the night so far. Orzek gets his 4th point in his 11th game with the Gladiators. Alex Young extends his point streak to 3 games. 2 goals, 2 assists for him in that span. And Walter extends his point streak to 5. 2 goals and 3 assists in that span for Walter. And so for the Gladiators, that's really been the tale of their season so far this year. They have found a way to win these kind of games in these low-scoring affairs. Their goaltending and their defense has had them in the driver's seat in games like this. For a lot of teams to only score 1 goal, you're not going to win very many of those games. But for the Gladiators, it's really been quite the opposite, as the Gladiators in 1-goal games this season are 10-6-1. They won another one of those games on Monday night in Orlando by the final score of 2-1. And so for Atlanta, look to get it done again here on the road today in South Florida. And what's interesting for the Gladiators this season is when they score 1 goal this season, they're actually 0-3. But 1 goal in this game might end up being enough with the way that Ethan Hyder is playing. Hyder had a sensational second period for the Gladiators, and where I thought the Gladiators were probably the better team in the first period in terms of scoring chances, but the Everblades in the second period really came to life as Florida outshoots Atlanta 8-4 in the second period of play. And so for the Gladiators, kind of have to find a way to get back to that formula of generating chances in the offensive zone. I thought they did a good job of that in the first period. Missed the net on a few of them, but ended up outshooting the Everblades 7-4 after 1. Really got away from that in the second period, as it felt like the Everblades were doing the better of that in the second frame and got some chances out of it. But really the difference here today was the play of Ethan Hyder in the second period, making a handful of great saves to keep the Gladiators out in front with that 1-0 lead. And again, we talk about this Gladiators team and finding ways to win low-scoring games. Think about this. The Gladiators are 11-1 when allowing 1 goal. They are 1-0 when allowing no goals, a shutout victory. That was against the Everblades, their only shutout of the year. Came on October 24th with TJ Semptimphelter getting the shutout. And then they're 8-2 when they allow 2 goals. 3 has seemingly been the magic number for the Gladiators this season. If they can just get 3, chances are they're going to win, because the Gladiators this season have gone 20-3 when allowing 2 or less goals. The defense speaks for itself. The goaltending speaks for itself. The Gladiators' magic number is 3. They haven't needed to score many more goals than that because of how good they are defensively. And so in a game like this, your defense, your goaltending bailing you out a little bit. But the difference in this one compared to the Solar Bears game is this is the reigning South Division champions you're talking about. This is the Florida Everblades you're talking about. This is a team that was one of the best in the ECHL last year, but only lost the Brabham Cup race because of how good South Carolina was. Otherwise, they would have been first in the division again. And so for the Everblades, championships in 22, 23, 24. Into the conference final last year, lost to Trois Rivières to end their run. It really feels like in this game, the Gladiators are going to have to be on their A game if they want to come away with the victory. And the last time these two teams met, 1 was enough. The last goal in the game was an empty net goal from Ryan Nolan to make it a 2-0 final. 1 was enough, but at this stage in the year, it's going to be interesting to see if the Gladiators can get that insurance goal this time around or not. And I think this game is going to be won or lost with the way that the Gladiators play defensively and the way that Ethan Hyder plays here in the third period. If it's anything like what we saw in the first 2 periods, the Gladiators will be fine. They'll win this game. But in a game like this, where it can change the bounce of the puck, 1 shot, 1 tip, you'd like to get that next one. And so this power play to start the third period is going to be a very good opportunity for this Gladiators team to take a 2-0 lead. If Florida is able to kill off that penalty, watch out, because they might be able to generate some momentum off of that, as we've seen in games past this season. And so for the Gladiators, their first order of business should be to score on this power play, but if they can't, find a way to keep momentum in their favor, because you don't want the Everblades to get any kind of confidence moving through into this game, and you don't want this crowd to get into the battle as well and give some fuel to this Everblades team. And you have to think that at this point, the Everblades, while they are a very composed team, led by Brad Ralph, this is a team that has not scored against the Gladiators in 5 periods now in the season series. got to be pretty frustrating. We'll see if the Gladiators can use that Everblade frustration to their advantage here in the third period, catch them on their heels. Again, get an insurance mark, or at least, at the very least, keep them on the board and get the victory here in a tight one in South Florida. We shall see on the other side of the break, but to this point, it is a 1-0 Gladiator lead after 2. We are back for more second intermission action on the other side of the break, as we will take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard and see what's going on in the ECHL, as there are 5 games going on here on a Wednesday night in the ECHL. Talk all about it on the other side of the break and preview a little bit more third period action, as it is Atlanta 1 and Florida 0 after 2 periods of play.
It's game day and Bucky's ready for action. From the moment he pulls up, it's all smiles, high fives, and Beaver Toyota pride. A quick stop for snacks and he's game ready. The energy in the arena starts to build, because when Beaver Toyota and the Gladiators team up, the fun and excitement never stop. Catch Bucky at the next Gladiators game or visit us anytime at beavertoyotacoming.com.
We're 20, and yeah, we're celebrating big. Because in 20 years, we didn't just make the gear, we made hockey cooler. They said we were too loud, too flashy, too different. They told us to tone it down. The Warriors don't tone it down, we go full throttle. And this is just the start. 20 years in and we're just getting warmed up. We're still the brand that makes the gear you can win in, chirping, partying. And if you thought we were bold before, just wait. The next 20 years start now.
Need to build a professional brand? Alpha Graphics delivers with stunning signage, graphics, and marketing materials that are exactly what you need to earn clients' trust. Alpha Graphics. Bring your brand to life.
Life's too short for ordinary whiskey. Make it infamous. Now available at Mega Package Store, 2820 Lawrenceville, Sewanee, Oregon, 4 miles from Gas South Arena.
Gwinnett Fire and Emergency Services is ready to answer the call, but we'd rather prevent them. Our free home safety survey includes checking smoke alarms, identifying common hazards, and reviewing your family's home escape plan. Schedule yours today.
Gladiators have the lead, 1-0 through 2 periods of play, off of a goal that was scored 4.5 minutes into the first period by Nolan Orzak, and that is the only goal so far in this game. And this game is anything like the last one these two teams played against each other. It could be enough to win it, but I think for all the fans sitting at home and for everybody in the building, the Gladiators would like to at least get one more and increase their lead in this one. As we all know, a game can change, and a single shot, a single bounce, or a single tip, and the Gladiators would like to be on the right side, up on all of that by the end of the night. Atlanta, when leading after 2 this season, is 18-0. Florida, when trailing after 2 this season, is 1-6-1-1. We'll see how this one shakes out here in the third period here in Estero for the Gladiators. They're going to need to be on their A game. This has been their toughest game of the season so far. Really is a benchmark game for the Gladiators to find out where they're really at. Seen a lot of Greenville this year, seen a lot of Jacksonville, South Carolina a handful of times, but for the Gladiators, hadn't seen the Everblades since late October, and this is the reigning South Division champions. And the question all the way up to this point was, how good are the Gladiators really? Yeah, you can beat Greenville. Yeah, you can beat Jacksonville. You can beat South Carolina from time to time, but what about Florida? How do the Gladiators match up against Florida? Yeah, you beat them once earlier in the season, but that was a long time ago. That was early in the season. You caught them on a bad night. We'll see what happens the next time around. And so far to this point, the Gladiators have really silenced all the doubters. Another solid performance from this Gladiators team who, through 2 periods, has found a way to stop one of the most dominant scoring offenses in the ECHL to this point. Everblades one of the better scoring teams in the league, 6th best averaging 3.39 goals for per game, and yet the Gladiators, the best defensive team in the ECHL, have had the upper hand in this game thus far. And it's really started with the play from Ethan Hyder. It started with the good penalty kill earlier in the game in the first period, and it's really culminated all with the good team defense led by their goaltending and their structure that Matt Gitt and Zach Vanel employ this season. This Gladiators defense is really bought in, and not just the defensemen, really the forwards, everybody. They bought into what this team is preaching, and they practice what they preach. Great structure, they block shots, they do their job, keep things to the outside, and that's why they have gone toe-to-toe with the reigning South Division champions, and they have the lead heading into the third period. The only question is can they find a way to do it again in a gritty matchup? Can they find a way to get out of the building with a win after stopping one of the dominant offenses this league has seen this season? Start this third period, we're once again going to be watching a battle between the Gladiators' power play and the Everblades' penalty kill. Again, Sean Allen in the box for roughing for an incident that occurred at the end of the second period. Gladiators start period 3 with a 2-minute 5-on-4 power play. And this Gladiators power play seems to have hit its stride as of late. Had a really good showing in the 2 games against Orlando. Now up to 19.3%, 15th best in the ECHL. But the thing that stands in the way is the second best penalty kill in the ECHL. At least it's tied for second. 87.4% from Florida. We're going to find out what ends up breaking here in the third period. Can the Gladiators find a way to solve one of the better penalty kills in the league here to give themselves a 2-0 lead? Or will the Gladiators' defense prevail again and again prove themselves to be the best defensive team in the ECHL? Or will this Florida Everblades team that has scored time and time against everybody else this season, will that come alive in the third period? We shall see. It's going to be a fun ride to the finish. Gladiators, Everblades both back out onto the ice. Atlanta wearing its white jerseys with blue numbers, and Gladiator gold trim will skate from left to right. Everblades wearing their green jerseys with white numbers and blue trim. They will skate from right to left in the third period. Ethan Hyder has been here before. He's a former 5th-round draft pick of the Nashville Predators back in 2019, 148th overall, second year in the ECHL. Talking to him at the beginning of the season, felt like he learned a lot in year 1 as a pro with this Gladiators team. Last year, Hyder went 18, 15, and 2 at a 3.17 goals against average and an 894 save percentage, and did have 4 shutouts in the 2024-25 campaign in 36 appearances. So far this season, he has really improved his game and stepped up in the sophomore campaign, but this is going to be the biggest moment of his season to this point. He has been the superhero for the Gladiators so far here tonight. He has kept the Everblades out of the net. He's going to need to do it for the next 20 minutes if this Gladiators team is going to take the victory on the first night of the 3-3. He will lead the charge between the pipes for the Gladiators as they look to improve to 26-9-1 and cement themselves as one of the South Division's best. Going up against the Florida Everblades, a team that has had their number in the past. Atlanta will look to exercise its demons here in the third. They win the opening faceoff to start period 3. On the power play, they begin with the first unit. Walter from the right wing gains the attacking line, leaves it for Young as he cuts to the inside. Forced to the far near corner, O'Brien is there. Finds Young from the right wing wall, and he will backhand it up top, but it's intercepted by Needham. It will squirm out the center, Sylvester closing in. The captain able to pull the puck in out of danger, and the Gladiators will start their next breakout on the power play. Walter on the right wing feeds it to Young. Scamper his way into the near corner. Roll it back up top to Nychuk. Return to Young from the right point, creeping on in. Pitches it to the goal line for O'Brien. Takes in the return feed. Walks up top, return to O'Brien. Right side shot, stopped by Johnson. Puck loose in front. Can they stuff it in? No. Florida able to toss it out to center. Gladiators forced to come back in. From the right wing, it's O'Brien. Backhand it deeper to Walter, who swivels it to the left wing for Sylvester. From the circle, exchanges with Young, off the wall, pressured, and forced out to center by Berzola. Gladiators get the puck back. 42 seconds left on their power plays. The second unit comes on. Mateer goes behind Hyder, and he will scan the ice for a moment. Only a second. Gonna lay the land. And jolted in the left side. McNamee is there, centering for Nolan. Pass out of his reach, got tied up with Berzola. From the line, Mateer sauces it down low again. Burns to Nolan, up the near side. Pass is picked off by Betts, twisted out the center. Francis couldn't keep it in. 13 seconds left on this Gladiators power play. Maybe one last gasp here. Francis to the right wing, broken up by Berzola. Sent up ice. Conroy has it. As Romano pressuring shorthanded. Out of the box is Allen. And we are back to 5-a-side. Puck sent in deep from the left corner. Conroy pinned up against the wall. 2 Everblades are there. Denemy joins the fray. Nolan in the area as well as the puck is kicked to Denemy. Off the far wall. Vaulted to the right side, shot by Yoder, gloved up by Johnson. 2:25 into the third. And so the Gladiators now 0 for 3 on the power play here tonight. And asking members of the Everblades broadcasting crew, why is this Florida Everblade penalty kill so successful? Their answer, they keep things to the outside. And we saw that a lot on that last Gladiators power play. We're able to move the puck, but very much forced to the outside. Fourth line out on the ice for Atlanta. Face off on the near circle. Scardino will take it against Lambden. Lambden wins it to Landry. He'll shuffle up the ice in his own blue line and knock it off the near wall, where it eventually goes to Kalen Lind and is spat back to Landry. Backpedaling, puck is deflected on goal by Scardina. Johnson has to react quickly, jumps on it, and makes a huge save. Ethan Scardina, what a play. Just out there on the forecheck. Got his stick in the right place at the right time, and the outlet pass from Landry hits the stick of Scardina and goes propelling towards the net. And Johnson, a bit deep in his crease, able to make that save and keep it out. Can you imagine if that would have gone in? Jarvis from the left wing puts a shot wide of the net. From the right point, Sylvester pulls it in and slingshots it deeper. And the Everblades respond by rainbowing it out to center circle. Sylvester once more from the red line. Jolts it behind Walter. Wasn't quite ready for it. So the Everblades come up ice. From the right wing, it's Cooper digging his way behind the net on his backhand. Pops out on the near side, sauces it deeper for Penny. He is checked. Another reverse play from the Everblades. Up the near wall again and back behind the net. There's Penny on his backhand, centers. This is broken up by Orzek. Young will take it up ice. From the neutral zone, he will lift it into Florida territory. And in front of the bench, Young going at it with Allen. Those two all wrapped up, and everybody will join the dance. This is game number 1 of 3 over the next handful of days. We are back in this building on Friday and Saturday nights. Friday night, 7:30 puck drop, 7:10 pregame show. Have it all for you here in the Gladiators Broadcast Network as pleasantries are exchanged in front of the Gladiators bench. Cooper's going to be sent on his way back to the Florida side. He's going to try and skate back and get some more words in. And it looks like Allen going back to the box for Florida. Nobody in on the Gladiators side for now. Fans not happy. Allen, the only man in the box. And I don't think I saw an official
signal on what the call is, but I have to imagine it's roughing of some sort. Because everybody was just bundled up in front of the Gladiators bench and couldn't quite get a good look at it from that angle, if anybody was hit on the bench. But the Gladiators go back to the power play here, so this is their 4th chance of the night on the Eco-Electric power play, and this is a chance to make the Everblades feel the pain of that penalty to Allen, his 2nd of the night. Face off on the near circle. First unit will start. Young, Walter, O'Brien, Nychuk, and Sylvester. And it is another roughing minor to Allen, 3:33 into the 3rd period. That has put the Gladiators back on the power play for the 4th time tonight. 0 for 3 to this point. And we've got a delay here as Brad Ralph is talking to our referee this evening, Will Kelly, trying to get an explanation as to why his team is going to the penalty kill. Maybe trying to argue himself into a 4-on-4, but our referee, Will Kelly, having none of it. Signals good to go. And now I believe that Allen has gotten a 10-minute misconduct as Sillinger goes to the box to serve his 2 minutes. So we're not going to see Allen until about the 6.5-minute mark of the 3rd period and whatever whistle is blown after that. Nychuk from the right point has Young to the inside to Walter. Quick pass, sets up Sylvester. He shoots. That just goes wide. And momentum carries the puck out to center. Nychuk couldn't get there in time. Sylvester quickly up ice, has Young on the fly. Feeds it to Walter. He shoots off the crossbar, and it stays out. Hit the elbow on the near side, and in Florida is able to clear. Nychuk distributes to Sylvester. Slings it to the right wing to Walter. Springs it back to Sylvester. Atlanta trying to find its way back into the attacking zone. Florida not making it easy. Alex Young weaving through the neutral zone, trying to get around Jet Jones. With help from Nychuk, they dump it in. It'll go around to the left side. Puck bounces to O'Brien. He'll skitter up the wall. Tries to sauce it deeper, but Florida gets in front of it. Active stick, keeps it in the zone, but Landry with some space to work. Gets it to the line where it's flagged down by Nychuk and held alive. Shot towards the goal, blocked in front of Johnson. And now the Everblades will clear with 40 seconds left on the penalty to Allen. Cross-ice feed from Sylvester, intercepted by Romano. Romano from the left wing. Puts it to the goal. Hyder swipes it to the near side. Cipolone pulls it in there. Goes cross-ice to McNamee. He's able to chop it down deeper as he takes a check from Sambrook. In the far corner, he kicks it to Burns. Back to McNamee. Behind the net, centers from a tier. Shot goes wide. I believe his stick broke as he drops it as Florida goes up ice. 2-on-2. Romano taken down by Matier. What a great defensive play without the stick. Florida's back to full strength. Penalty to Allen expires. Sylvester and I think that Francis tried to go right down the middle. Nothing happening there. He's stuffed. Now Sillinger on the left wing. Tries to dance into Gladiator territory. Has to wait for Duke to come back onside. Now Duke from the left wing. Gains the zone. Puts it to the goal line. Around the net goes Cazzero. Centering feed off the stick of Sillinger. From the line. Landry looking. Has a shot left point from Duke. Turned away by Hyder. Puck goes behind the cage and up to the right wing where Sillinger finds Cazzero. Long shot off the post. And it's still a 1-0 Gladiator lead. Danamy from the deep end. Gets it to the line, but not out. Duke, quick pass to Landry. Back the other way for a shot that's blocked by Yoder. And the high sticks Lambden. And the Everblades are going to the power play when we come back. 13:22 left in the third period. Zach Yoder heading to the box. 2 minutes for high sticking. Florida with a chance to tie on the other side of the break. This is the Gladiators Broadcast Network. We are back in a moment after a word from our local partners.
It's game day and Bucky's ready for action. From the moment he pulls up, it's all smiles, high fives, and Beaver Toyota pride. A quick stop for snacks and he's game ready. The energy in the arena starts to build because when Beaver Toyota and the Gladiators team up, the fun and excitement never stop. Catch Bucky at the next Gladiators game or visit us anytime at beavertoyotacoming.com.
Why choose between getting things done and doing things with the ones you love? With Kroger's same-day pickup and delivery, it's easy to shop the same great prices and quality you'd find in-store, so you can catch more family time. We'll bring your groceries right to you, satisfaction guaranteed, so you can spend time on what matters most. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Zach Yoder in the box, 2 minutes for high sticking. Caught Lambden up high, and so Florida to the power play for the second time tonight. Gladiators to the Beaver, Toyota, and Mazda penalty kill. To this point, they're 1 for 1. Gonna need a big stop here, and it starts with a clear. That is mailed all the way down to Johnson. And Florida forced to start from the back end. Chow guns through the neutral zone. Feeds it cross ice, and Florida's offside on the zone entry. So, Florida, not the best team on the power play, which is crazy considering they're one of the better scoring teams in the league. But some guys to watch out for the Everblades on this man advantage. Got to be looking for number 29 in green, Anthony Romano. 4 power play goals, that leads the team. 7 power play assists, also leads the team. But watch out for Oliver Chow as well, with 6 power play assists, but only 1 power play goal this year. Florida does have some weapons at their disposal. Here's Cazzaro from the right point, rushing it to the top of the circle. Gladiators tangle it up, send it to the near wall. Florida drives it down deeper. Behind the net, Needham puts it to the left wing for Chow. Chow looking, leaves it for Romano. In the near corner, knocks it up top. Sambrook to the right side for a shot. Save. Hyder. Rebound leaks free. Cazzaro to the left wing to Romano. Takes it back in the high slot. Turns and shoots. Hyder fights that off as well. Cipolone swipes at it. An extra effort from Mateer clears the puck down. And the Gladiators will get a change. On is Jarvis, Conroy, Burns, and O'Brien on the PK for Atlanta. Duke on the right wing, centers looking for Betts, and Hyder had it stopped right in tight. Another Atlanta clear. 24 seconds remain on the penalty to Yoder. Up ice is Landry, drifting left, stops at the left point, scrubbed off the puck at the wall, sent out to center, chance shorthanded, 2-on-1, Burns shoots, save, rebound, score! O'Brien, shorthanded, and Atlanta doubles its lead, 2-0, Gladiators. That's the big break they needed. With 9 seconds left on the penalty to Yoder, the Gladiators catch a huge break up ice, shorthanded. Burns with the initial shot. Johnson made the save, but he overcommitted the rebound right onto the tape of O'Brien. He puts it in the back of the net. Atlanta's 8th shorthanded goal of the year comes in enemy territory at the perfect time. Yoder out of the box. Gladiators back to full strength. O'Brien, his 17th of the year, short-handed, has given Atlanta a 2-0 lead. 6 goals, 2 assists, 8 points in 10 games for O'Brien as a Gladiator. Incredible. Mickey Burns gets the primary assist as here comes Nychuk. Puck rolls off his stick in the high slot. Chance comes to an end. Penny weaves his way through the neutral zone, drifting right. Pops it up to the right point. Shot from there by Brzola. Hits the stick and goes to Henry. From the left wing, Walter defending. Shuffle it behind the net and roll it to the line to Nurse. As Brzola for a right wing shot. Hyder makes the save. Goes behind the cage as Walter tries to get a stick on it on the left wing and does. Able to twist it through center with 10:25 to go. Barreling down the right side. Shot stopped by Hyder. Brzola had some speed. Hyder with an even better blocker save. Keeps Florida off the board. Hyder comes out to play the puck from the trapezoid. Flings it to his left for Jarvis. Drop pass on the money for Lind. Has Francis up the ice. Francis with speed takes a shot off the stick of Cazzero. From the left wing, puck is poked near Johnson. He'll leave it behind the cage for Cazzero. He'll slam it up the near wall at the line. Yoder battles with Chow. Up ahead, Chow able to find Romano. Has a trailer. Cazzero to the front. Hyder with another huge save. Keeps the Everblades out. Bouncing puck down the ice. No icing. Atlanta able to get a line change in into the final 10 minutes with 9:30 to go. Lambden flies down the right wing, leaves it for Duke. Cross-ice feed away from Betts. Good stick lift by Mickey Burns. Gladiators pitch it to the red line. McNamee meets it along with O'Brien. Bodies come together. 2 Gladiators, 3 Everblades. And Florida with numbers is able to strip the puck away. Landry to Lambden. Cross-ice on time for Henry. Gladiators bottle him up on the zone entry. McNamee takes flight from the neutral zone, shuffles it down, and gets off for a change. 8:45 left in the third period. Jones from the left wing puts it into the corner for Nurse. He is slammed into the boards by Jarvis. It forces him from the puck. Orsic will take it on the move, and the puck pops into the Gladiators bench with 8:25 to go. Timeout on the ice. We'll take one as well. Shorthanded goal from Jack O'Brien has given the Gladiators a 2-0 lead as they look to close this one out on the other side of the break. We'll find out if they can do it in 1 minute after a word from our local sponsors.
Life's too short for ordinary whiskey. Make it infamous.
Now available at Mega Package Store, 2820 Lawrenceville, Sewanee, Oregon, 4 miles from Gas South Arena.
We're 20, and yeah, we're celebrating big. Because in 20 years, we didn't just make the gear, we made hockey cooler. They said we were too loud, too flashy, too different. They told us to tone it down. The Warriors don't tone it down, we go full throttle. And this is just the start. 20 years in and we're just getting warmed up. We're still the brand that makes the gear you can win in, chirping, partying. And if you thought we were bold before, just wait. The next 20 years start now.
O'Brien's shorthanded goal is the first shorthanded goal of his young ECHL career. The second-year pro, acquired in a trade from Iowa at the end of the month of December, has been an excellent acquisition, as both of those 2 guys that came over in that trade, Orszak and O'Brien, have been the difference for the Gladiators here today with a goal each. And the latest one from O'Brien has given the Gladiators a sense of comfort. The 2-goal lead. Shot from the line by Brzola, blocked by Scardina. Puck drifts out to center. Brzola has to chase it, and Scardina putting on some pressure. Been an excellent, great forechecker for the Gladiators this year. He in that fourth line doing some good work now. Puck in the near corner of the Florida zone. Nolan with the takeaway. Pinned up against the boards. Puck leaks free. Florida trying to get out, and they do. Duke from the neutral zone heaves it into Atlanta ice. Jarvis, the first man on it, pulls away in the near corner. Escapes most of a check from Duke, but can't get the puck out of the zone. Duke from behind the net. Quickly closed in on by Jarvis. Borzek able to help out. Sidesteps and throws it to the neutral zone, where it goes over the head of Sambrook and down near Johnson. 7:33 left in the third period. Estero has it for Florida. Finds Sambrook on the left wing. Over the red line, off the wall to Cooper, and the Gladiators had that bottled up. Upwards goes Young. Young to the inside for Sylvester. He shoots. Save made Johnson, and the rebound just put wide. Sylvester back on it. Gets up to his feet from the left wing. Stops at the point. Hammers it down deeper to Young. On his forehand, has it taken away by Sambrook. Walter creates a turnover. Tries to cut to the net. O'Brien make that. Nychuk is there as well. Puck leaps it in the air. Walter's got it back from the right circle. Look to center, but nobody's home. 6:45 to go. Puck rolls in on the right side, and Mateer will chase it to the end wall. Being pressured by Cooper. Mateer up to escape. He gets tripped up. No call to be found as Walter streaks through the neutral zone. Drifting right, pounds it in. He'll head off to complete a line change. Everblades dump the puck in once more. Gladiators shuffle to the right side. Yoder pinned up in the corner. Able to take the check. Fish the puck free and distribute to Conroy. Out on the left side now. Throws it to the neutral zone off the stick of Cipollone. And Francis beats out the icing. He's able to hustle on it. Set up a shot by Yoder. That flubs off his stick. Henry moves it up the ice. On the money for Romano, his dump in blocked by Conroy, and Conroy stuffs Henry at the blue line. This game has been physical here tonight. Gladiators using their strength and their wits to their advantage. Here is Duke bursting down the middle, brushes it to the right side. Wanted Betts, but Conroy again with a great active stick. Errant pass splits the Everblades D, rolls all the way down to Johnson, who comes out to play. With 5:25 to go in the third period. 18 shots apiece. Gladiators lead 2-0. Lambden in the left wing, swiped in deeper by Betts. Lambden chases it to the near corner. Upends Jarvis. Puck will skitter over to the far wall, where it's kept in at the right point by Betts. Extra effort by Burns. Knocks it out to center. 5 minutes left in the third. Florida dumps the puck into the far corner. Gladiators control in deep. Borzek to the left wing has Denemy in motion. Denemy up by shoots high and wide. Momentum carries the puck out to the neutral zone. Sillinger to Cazzero, and Florida moves in transition. From the right wing, he shoots. That is blocked. Rebound to Denemy. Maybe a 2-on-1 if they hurry. He finds Nolan down the gullet. Takes a shot. That is absorbed by Johnson with 4:33 to go. Goal from O'Brien has given the Gladiators some insurance. They lead 2-0 with 4:33 to go. We'll see if Atlanta can close this one out on the other side of the break. Final time out on the ice. We'll take one as well. We are back in a moment on the Gladiators Broadcast Network.
Wendy's has new chicken tenders. Crispy, juicy, tendery, tendies. Ooh, that's fun to say. Tendies, tendies, tendies. And they're so good, maybe we should change our... For tendies you're gonna know by name, gotta be Wendy's.
Need to build a professional brand? Alpha Graphics delivers with stunning signage, graphics, and marketing materials that are exactly what you need to earn clients' trust. Alpha Graphics. Bring your brand to life.
Gladiators lead 2-0 with 4:33 to go in the third. Looking to close this one out in enemy territory. Out is the first line. First D pairing as well. Florida wins the defensive zone faceoff. We'll keep an eye on Johnson. 4:30 left in the third. Florida is still down late in this game. See if they opt to pull him anytime soon, but won't be now as the shot goes into his glove. Likes to keep play moving. Sylvester from the high slot feeds it to the left side. Nychuk couldn't locate it, got caught in his skates. Here goes Sillinger, bottled up at the Gladiator blue line. Good back check from Young. Matier rushes it to the right wing for Nychuk. Tries to feather it in deeper, but he's boxed off the puck by Sillinger on the near side. He's able to slingshot Berzola up the ice. Feeds it right wing for a shot by Romano. Blocker stop from Hyder. Rebound loose on the near side. Puck will drift to the corner. Matier is there. Tries to volley it up the wall. Held into the line by Chow. Right wing. Henry back to Chow. Now the left side. Berzola shoots through the crease and out the other side. Now on the far wall, Johnson still between the pipes, 3:25 to go. Word battle ensues, Gladiators dig it free. Bouncing puck, Nychuk handles, Lind clears out to center. 3:15 on the clock. Henry forced to track it down. Francis pestering. Florida sauces it to the neutral zone. Betts running down the left wing, moves up ice to Duke. His shot goes wide of Hyder. And on the far wing, the Gladiators knock it out to center. Under 3 minutes left now. Florida will ice the puck with 2:50 to go. And we'll see an offensive zone faceoff for the Gladiators near Cam Johnson. And that icing is impactful for a few reasons. One, it is an offensive zone faceoff for the Gladiators. It is an opportunity to shave off more time. And third, Everblades can't pull Johnson as long as the puck is in their zone. And we are approaching that mark as to when Brad Ralph, the Everblades coach, has to be strongly considering it with his team down by 2. Gladiators win the draw. Jarvis shot from the line, snagged by Johnson. Another face-off 6 seconds later. Second line on the ice for the Gladiators. Mickey Burns with an assist on the shorthanded goal from O'Brien. Now up to 3 assists on the season. 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points for Burns. Face off to the right of Johnson. Gladiators win another. Conroy from the line unloads off the end wall. Rebound into the corner. McNamee tries to fish it free. Kicks it from skate to stick and jabs it over to the far corner where Cazzaro will handle the reverse back to the near side. McNamee off for a change. 2:22 to go, and Florida has possession. So pump it up ice. Goes off the stick of Jones. Gladiators control again. Johnson wanted to go to the bench, and now he does. Florida with possession back. They burrow their way deep into the near corner. And it is a 6-on-5 for Florida. Sandbrook for a shot by Cazzaro. Blocked in front. The rebound to O'Brien. Scuttles it to the neutral zone. 1:57 to play. Duke smacks it off the corner wall. It'll angle to the far side. Nychuk with it. Off the wall. Everblades get it back from the line. They take a shot. Blocked in front. Puck is loose. Turning, shooting is Jones. And that goes wide. In the near corner, Matier is there. Pinned up along the wall. Atlanta scoots it free. Hammer towards the net, well wide of the mark. That's an icing on Atlanta with 1:28 to play. So, 88 seconds left in regulation. Gladiators can feel it. They're on the cusp. Face off to the right of Hyder. Cipollone to take it against Jones. Net still empty for Florida. 6-on-5 in favor of the home team. From the right point, it's Cazzaro. Across to the left, Berzola hauls it in. Drifting right, passing left. He's got Duke for a shot. That's blocked by Cipollone. Puck to Nolan. Net is empty. Hackett off the near glass into Florida ice. That'll shave off some time Everblades come back in. From the left wing, it's Chow. Puts a shot on goal. Hyder gloves it up. 1:03 to play. Gladiators get a personnel change. Young, O'Brien, Sylvester, Conroy, and Nychuk will be on the ice for the Gladiators. And it looks like Brad Ralph using his timeout here. This guy's a bit gassed. 63 seconds to play. The Florida coach taking his timeout. Shot count 21-20 in favor of Florida, but the Gladiators have a 2-0 lead. The only goal that was scored 5-on-5 came from Nolan Orzek about 4.5 minutes into the first. That score held for quite a while until later on in the third period, 8:29 in, Jack O'Brien scores shorthanded for Mickey Burns to make it a 2-0 Gladiator lead, and that's where we sit. O'Brien has his first career shorthanded goal, and it proved to be a pivotal moment in this game and maybe the insurance marker that the Gladiators needed. And oh, by the way, Ethan Hyder has put together another dominant performance, trying to close it off here. 1:03 to play. Face off to his right. Won by Young. Puck will go behind the net. Mateer is there. He loses it out in front. Jones has it poke checked away by Hyder. Gladiators look to clear, and they do. Puck will go wide of the empty net, and it's another icing with 50 seconds to go. Face off on the near circle. Again to the right of Hyder. Here are your Gladiators on the ice. It is Young, Nychuk, Mateer, O'Brien, and Sylvester. Off the face-off. Sylvester's got it. Has O'Brien up ahead. Knocked off his stick as he tried to exit the zone. Shot from Chow. Gloved up by Hyder with 41 to go. Oh, the Gladiators thought they were home free, but somehow, someway, the Everblades able to swindle away at the line and set up the chance for Chow. And time again, Ethan Hyder has come up big, and he does it again. Face off on the near circle once more. Jones against Cipollone. Florida wins the face-off. Duke quickly to the line. Sandbrook, a blast, blocked by Denemy. Rebound in the slot. Fish free by Burns. Put through the neutral zone softly. No icing. 30 to go. Sandbrook looking uphill. Has a lot of room to roam. Takes a shot into the glove of Hyder. Puts it down. Tries for the empty net. Gets blocked on the way, but ends up going out to center. 15 seconds to go. Chow tried to come in. He gets stuffed. 10 seconds to play. Backpedaled out to center. 5 seconds to go. And the Atlanta Gladiators get another statement win. And Ethan Hyder's got his first shutout of the year. It's a 20-save shutout for Ethan Hyder, and he is now tied Jeff Jakaitis and Louis Domingue for second most shutouts in Atlanta Gladiators history. Atlanta wins 2-0 in South Florida. No more boogeymen for these Atlanta Gladiators. In back-to-back visits here in South Florida this season, the Gladiators have come away with 2-0 shutouts over these Everblades. Ethan Hyder with his best performance of the year, 20-save shutout in enemy territory against the South Division leading Florida Everblades. That is your reigning ECHL goaltender of the week, and he's looking to go back-to-back with a performance like that. He had 4 shutouts last year, gets his first one of the year here, and has moved into second place all-time on the Atlanta Gladiators shutout list. Ties Jeff Jakaitis and Louis Domingue for second most in Atlanta Gladiators history. And it is a big, big night
for the Gladiators. They improved to 26-9-1, pick up 2 more points to have 53 on the season, and Florida falls to 25-9-4-1, and that means that Friday night will be a battle for first place in the South Division, as the Atlanta Gladiators have done it again, another shutout win in South Florida. We'll wrap it all up and look ahead to Friday night. On the other side of the break, Gladiators take this one by the final score of 2-0. Post-game show coming up next. We are back in a moment.
More than just cookies.
Desserts now in rotation.
Welcome to the post-game show here at Hertz Arena. The Gladiators have done it again. Deja vu? Yes. 2-0 win in this building on October 24th. 2-0 win tonight. The only thing different was the netminders. TJ Semptimphelter got his first pro shutout back in October in this building. Ethan Hyder, by the same score, stops 20 of 20 to pick up his 5th career shutout. And now is tied Jeff Jakaitis and Louis Domingue for second most shutouts in Atlanta Gladiators franchise history. And if you're wondering who the leader in the clubhouse is for the Gladiators in that record, it's Sean Bonner, who has 8 in his Gladiators career, played from 2017 to 2020. Ethan Hyder will now chase that mark after another impressive game here tonight. But it doesn't just start with Hyder. Really started as a full team effort, and we'll break that down during the recap. But interesting note here tonight, the Gladiators have only had 2 shutouts in their favor this season, and both of them have come in this building against the Florida Everblades by the same score, a 2-0 final. And quick trip down memory lane will tell me that for TJ Semptimphelter's shutout, he stopped 25 of 25. So it'd be eerily strange if both guys had a 20-save shutout, but for Semptimphelter was 25, and for Hyder, it is 22. So Ethan Hyder actually stops 22 of 22. He's had a couple more on the board, and the Atlanta Gladiators do get the win. So 22-save shutout for Hyder, it ends up being, and Atlanta comes away with the victory. And it is the 3rd time this season that Florida has been shut out, and 2 of those come at the hands of the Atlanta Gladiators. So, pretty crazy stuff here in South Florida. Here's how it all shook down. Not a lot of scoring in this game, but the Gladiators end up scoring when they needed to. 4:25 into the first period, Nolan Orzek scores his 5th goal this season from Alex Young and Isaac Walter, as the Gladiators take an early 1-0 lead, and they played with the lead for the majority of this game as they led for 54 minutes and 25 seconds at Florida, playing on its heels for much of the night, and that proved to be a difference here today. I certainly do think that changed the approach from the Everblades as the night went on, and the Gladiators so stout defensively with great goaltending from Hyder. Again, get the 22-save shutout and find a way to get this game in their favor. It starts with that goal from Orzek. Hits a leg in front, and a shot from the right point ends up going the back of the net, and Alex Young and Isaac Walter get the assist. No scoring in the second period. You go to the third, 8:29 in. The Gladiators short-handed are able to put the insurance marker on the board. Mickey Burns takes a shot from the right wing. That's stopped by Johnson, but he overcommits. Can't get across on the rebound. Jack O'Brien fires into the back of the net, and Atlanta has a 2-0 lead, and they don't look back. The Gladiators are able to come away with a 2-0 victory in South Florida, and they have exercised their demons for sure. You know, all the talk coming into the season was, you know, how good are the Gladiators really? Yeah, you can play Greenville a bunch of times and beat them. Yeah, you can beat Jacksonville a bunch of times and you can beat them. Yeah, all right, you can beat the Stingrays a few times, but What about Florida? What about the reigning South Division champions? What about the Everblades, the Kelly Cup champions in 22, 23, 24, and they went to the conference final last year? What about that team? What about the green team down south? You know, the team that the Gladiators had lost 15 straight matchups to coming into this season. Yeah, the team that the Gladiators had not beat in this building since April 14th of 2023 coming into the season. What about that team? How would the Gladiators fare against that team? Yeah, you had a hot start. Yeah, you went into the building and you beat them 2-0 early in the year, but that was just early in the year. That's October hockey. Now we're into January hockey. How are the Gladiators going to play against these Everblades in late January? Back in South Florida, things are so much different. You don't have Louis Boudon anymore. You have a lot of moving parts. You're in the middle of your longest road trip of the year. How are the Gladiators going to fare then? Said the doubters. How are they going to do? Well, the Gladiators really silenced their doubters here tonight as they come away with a dominant 2-0 victory here in South Florida. And a lot of times when you say dominant about a win, a lot of the time you talk about an offensive beatdown. That's usually what that term is used on a lot. But that's not the case here tonight. For the Gladiators, it was dominant goaltending, and it was dominant team defense. This is a Gladiators team that when they play like that, they can go up against anybody. And they've done it again. 2 games against the Everblades, 2 games in this building this year, and Florida has not scored a single goal. Ethan Heider, TJ Semptimphelter, that goaltending duo is the best in the ECHL. I'll come out and say that right now. It is the best. And it is a large reason as to why the Gladiators have been so successful this year. But it's not just those two. Give them a lot of credit, but it's not just those two. It's also the guys in front. This Gladiators team is so composed and so well structured and so well coached by Matt Ginn and Zach Vanel that in games like this, they thrive. They thrive in games like this. It's their second shutout of the year. It ends up being a 2-goal game, but for much of it was a 1-goal game. And these kind of games have been Atlanta Gladiators hockey. This has become Atlanta Gladiators wins. And so you look at the Gladiators being now 8-3-1 in games where they score only 2 goals. Incredible. A lot of teams that have a losing record scoring only 2 goals in a single game. Not the Gladiators. 8-3-1 now. 5-1-1 on the road in such cases. And for the Gladiators, the majority of the time they've held their opponents to 2 goals or under. It's incredible. It's incredible what this team has been able to do. And it's even more so the fact that they've been able to do it in this building. And it really feels like at this point in the year, we've been saying this for a while, but now in late January, I think this rings true. It really feels like your clear-cut 3 in the South are Florida, South Carolina, and Atlanta. And now the Gladiators are going to have a chance to play for first place in the division on Friday night against these Everblades. Now, the difference between tonight and October was a one-off. These two teams hadn't seen each other until tonight. They're going to get a rematch in 2 days on Friday night. And I have to think that the Everblades are going to come out with a passion. They're going to come out with a fury, and they are going to try and do everything they can to score on the Gladiators. And what I assume will be TJ Semptimphelter getting the start for Atlanta. And we'll see. We'll see how this Gladiators team responds to that. It's, again, going to be their biggest test of the year, but we've been saying that all season long, that, you know, with each milestone of the season, that this is going to be the Gladiators' biggest test of the year. This is going to be it. And every single time, they have risen to the occasion and passed that test, right? This road trip at this stage in the year, it was going to be their biggest test of the year. Had that circle on the calendar for a long time. This was going to make or break their season at this point. They're now 3-0-1 on this road trip. They've got points in their last 6 games. They've now won 3 in a row. They've got a shutout victory in South Florida. What more can you say? But, again, the road continues, and the road rolls through South Florida, and we'll see if the Gladiators can do it again on Friday night here against the Everblades. Gladiators go 0 for 4 in the power play, 2 for 2 in the penalty kill, including the shorthanded goal. Special teams did play a factor, as Atlanta does get that shorthanded goal from O'Brien that really changed things towards the end of the third period. And Orzek and O'Brien score your lone goals. So we shall see how things square out on Friday night, but one thing is for certain, you don't want to miss that one as these two teams square off again for the middle game of the 3-game set. That'll do it for us here in Florida. Once again, your final score, Atlanta 2, Florida nothing. It's a 22-save shutout for Ethan Hyder as the Atlanta Gladiators pass their biggest test of the season. They take down the #1 seed Florida Everblades, and now they will look to claim first place on Friday night. Puck drop at 7:30 p.m. Coverage starts at 7:10 p.m. on the Gladiators broadcast network. Gladiators will look to move into first place for the first time since early in the season. They'll look to move into first place for the first time since November 8th. And what a road it has been to get to this point. Gladiators going toe-to-toe with the best. They take them down on night #1. See how they fare on Friday. I'm Guy Chiarenza. Thank you for watching this presentation of the ECHL. Once again, your final score, Atlanta 2, Florida nothing. Ethan Hyder has his 5th career professional shutout. Ties Jeff Jakaitis and Louis Domingue for second most in Gladiators history. Stopping 22 of 22 here tonight in enemy territory. Good night and so long. We'll see you back on Friday night here on the Gladiators.